me that ElGato thing. Was that in Twitter? You tweet that at me?
Yeah, I think it was Twitter. What, the new firmware and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at that again and make sure I have it.
Make sure you're good on
But
that.
my camera, I haven't had any issues right now.
Yeah, your camera's been good. Camera's been good.
I do see the flicker on occasion, though. I think it's my my backlight confuses my camera. It's like, what is this? Why is he so well lit?
What's going on with this lighting?
Camera hub, which now lets you. Oh, whoops. Camera hub, which now lets you see current video resolution and frame rate.
Can you move your camera, Cog, so your head's not off the top?
Oh, it's cut off the top.
Can you see it?
Not on my side, but I can adjust it.
You don't see you. Okay.
Not in Discord.
Weird. Because yeah, whatever it comes through where you're like here.
I think it's the Logitech software. That's why it's a discrepancy. It's probably taking whatever the Logitech software left it at. So yeah, hopefully now for you it better. Have a head.
Are we live, E, or can I update this now because it requires me to be offline for 30 seconds?
No, you can do it for a sec. I mean, everybody can hear us. Everybody can say hello.
Cool.
Just kind of adjusting Windows, so we're not quite there yet. Sorry, Nina. We're a little. It just always happens. I swear, like Discord will never put us in the same spot, so I have to just like update every time.
You go. Yeah, there I go. There I go.
Thank you, everybody. Drop your.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Probably gonna shut down my camera at some point, so if it switches to my.
Yeah, yours is going very slow right now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Your camera's like. Yeah.
As long as my audio is there, man. It's. I see the camera's blinking and it says it's updating it, so we'll see. I probably should have done this earlier, but it's been a heck of a day.
Yeah, trust me, I know the feeling.
Musical chairs of the show. Yeah, I got to move everybody around a little bit. Hopefully the background is fitting for the show. Oh, if you want to see chat, Nina, in case anybody says anything, this is the link. Even though I've posted it like everywhere, but.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was actually just switching, so making sure it was picking up like just a little bit of, I guess, the back feed from you guys. So I was just adjusting the setting, and it looks like it's just me now. So
thank you, Necromancer Zale. Can you please keep the reputation rewards like they were last week? Yeah, you could reset your Nightfall and like 12 Nightfalls. You were done with Vanguard reputation. It was insane. It was nice. I don't know if it was supposed to ever totally be that high, so I knocked at least one reset out and got the damn gun. What up, Scream? How you doing? We have audio. What's up, everybody?
Scream.
There it is.
Do I look delicious?
Yes, I'm gonna use the word delicious tonight. That sounds good.
You should like that Bond villain. What is that?
Pause.
Never Die Twice. Is that the one where the Bond villain is basically it's basically Steve Jobs, and he keeps saying delicious directly into the camera. It's horrifying.
Okay, I will be right back.
90s Bond was weird.
I will be right back.
Now Ian said if Ebontis talked to corporate yet to ask why there's no TWAB.
Real.
And then he's got the inside connection as to why it did not release. I don't know, man. He ain't pulling his strings, man. I don't know. Late TWAB. Yeah, this is unusual. I wonder if it's time released. I wonder if it's like set on a schedule, like how Zur is. You know what I'm saying? It's like a button. You know what I mean? It's for whatever reason the algorithm ain't working today. Very strange. Alex Kilgore, what's up, man? Card, great DD. Thank you. Oh, halfway through. Excited to finish the rest. Yeah, it was a fun show. Definitely a fun show. A lot of passion. Shout out to Mr. Matty Plays. Alicia, how we doing?
Guy. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's cool, man. That guy's cool. We had a fun debate.
Even if he hates what is it?
Deathloop. Oh, yeah. He despises it. He's ridiculous, but he stands on the square with it. They tweeted about the 12. All right. Somebody said they tweeted about the 12 a few minutes ago. All right. Let's refresh. Let's see. Black Iron Man, what's going on? The Rook.
Yeah, it's like if the TWAB actually drops,
It's gonna drop live.
yeah, I'm gonna the other way. Get it?
Is it still dropping tonight? Definitely.
It sounded like a maybe. I mean, they mentioned it's delayed, but we'll hopefully, because yeah, Liana said, where TWAB? TWAB is on hold temporarily. Team is currently working on a fix for this to get out as soon as possible. All I know. Also got the newest flavor. By the way, this tub is massive. Way
Which one
bigger.
is that?
The normal tub. This is
that's the new
the
size?
taro. No, well, this is the taro bubble tea. So this is the newest flavor that they did. But it's like, again, the scoops are generally about the same, but it's like, it has like a non-dairy creamer in there. So they're doing that to where you can actually blend it with water. So it's like, but I got the tub and I was like, huge.
You're like, this is different. Yeah, I take it back to the sour watermelon jump off.
Oh, always good.
Classic, always
I had that so much over the summer. It was probably it was.
You be careful. It's like juice for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Travis knows we're ridiculous, so
yeah, we're ridiculous.
Yep, it's fine.
For
it's
sure.
Fine.
Trav, you gotta respect me pushing powder, man. I'm doing.
No, he was pushing his powder. He's trying to sell me a dime bag, a gram of it, while we were on the raid together.
One focus hit, brother. Come on.
He's like 30% off. Use the code Ebontis.
Cody Ebontis, man. That's it.
I saw him taking a bump of GG during the raid. That's how he was staying up, you know.
Black makes it that sour green.
That's why I haven't trimmed
sour green. You got to stay up for 24 hours.
So I haven't trimmed. Yeah. Okay. Well, now that Nina thinks we're absolutely insane, you guys want to start your audio recordings in like 5, 4, 3, 2. Windows should have been open. One click. There you go.
I got done.
Done.
All right. Chat, thank you guys for being awesome. Necromancer, thank you for that $5 super chat. Yeah, the Nightfalls blew through last week, but that is everything. So we're going to get this thing going. Silence on the set. And that being said, let's jump into the darkness. 5, 4, 3.
All right. And we are live. The last word with LordCognito, Ebontis, Tie Guy Travis, Thursday evening, non-TWAB edition of the podcast. But we've got an awesome special guest that we will introduce soon. But first, how are we doing? How are we feeling?
Been good. It's been a busy weekend. Haven't made as many videos, but been playing the fun thing we're going to talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about all of our experiences. We all played a ton. Just been absolutely blown away with what they've done with this expansion so far. And we'll kind of dive deep into that. So before we go too far, though. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing. Nothing but this. And hopefully, if I can get Destiny to a point of a little more kind of maintenance, I'm going to do that full-on high dive into Elden Ring. And I haven't touched it yet. I did install it, but I haven't touched it yet. So that's kind of the goal, is to get it in kind of a little more maintenance, get a couple videos like in the, actually uploaded and prepped, and then kind of take a strong weekend to go like
willpower, Ebontis.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm pretty impressed.
Pretty impressed.
I had the same plan. I was like, I'm reviewing Destiny Witch Queen, so I can't play it. And I lasted like 5 hours. I think the game had been out for 5 hours before I started a character. So yeah, you got willpower, dude.
Yeah, I know that's killing them.
I just know if I don't, it's going to be a problem of I'm not going to want to stop playing. Also, I want to stream it, and just been kind of balancing everything. So yeah, Travis, what have you been doing? I know you just got done literally reviewing Witch Queen. So
yeah, my review went live.
Trying to help with that.
Yeah, you helped me get through the part of the raid. Yeah, it was quite a ride, man. I mean, Destiny had been out for 2 weeks before my review went live, so it was basically a full 2 weeks of me playing Destiny every day. And getting it in. I liked it, man. It was a lot of fun. You can read my review on IGN.com right now and watch the video version on YouTube. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Spoilers. But,
there you go.
That's the highest I've ever given a Destiny review, just to be clear. So that's a pretty big thing for me. Destiny has had a long history of 6s and 7s with me. So I'm happy to have finally gotten there. And you know what? if we were still on the 100 point system at IGN, it probably would have been an 8.9. To be honest with you, I was very close.
Wow.
I was very close. I was very close to giving it a 9, but I just couldn't get there with the
Just the other
bugs
stuff.
and the issues with Crucible and Gambit, and also strikes. I still think strikes aren't in a particularly good situation.
I feel like there's more things they could add to that list, just so anytime you go to Vanguard Ops, it's like it could be Empire hunts, it could be Nightmare hunts. Now we do have Battlegrounds in there. This like PsyOps Battlegrounds need to go in there. Like that playlist could have 20 different things, and you never know. And the fact that we lost so many strikes, I'm with you. Like strikes, Gambit, the playlists need some love still, but what we got in the expansion. Yeah, it's like for me, like it's a 9. So that's like it's not the full masterpiece. Like, well, then I'll go play Horizon and Elden Ring and be like, okay, those are damn good. But yeah, for me, for Destiny especially, but for me, it was still just like what I've been playing. I've been nothing but having fun, tweaks and stuff, currency limits. Yeah, there's some imperfections though.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyle? What have you been up to?
Before we continue, just want to make sure that a great guest can hear the amazing Travis, because I don't think she could hear him. So I just want to make sure. Yeah, we heard you fine, but I just wanted to make sure, that our amazing guest can
How do I fix that?
You can't.
Yeah, as soon as he started talking, I got the Discord loading screen for him.
Oh, Discord loading? Yeah, so we got to work the technical issue out. Maybe when someone should leave, come back, or how you want to do it?
Yeah, if you guys want to both leave and come back, maybe that'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there. Because we got to make sure everything's good. All right. Travis back. There's one.
He's back.
There's 2. All right.
Travis, you want to say something?
Hello? Can you hear me?
There he is.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Technical issue. Now back to what I was playing. So 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. It's been the grind. It's been everything. This game's been everything. And we did the raid, and I've experienced a lot of pain of contest mode, but we will get into it. But look, it's a phenomenal expansion, and I just can't wait to talk about it even more. But we got a special guest. We got someone that we gotta introduce, right?
Indeed. Sorry, I was seeing like last time I had this weird little like memory leak thing going on, and I want to make sure it doesn't continue.
Yeah, do your thing there. All right, I'll blow some more. So anyway. So
you love that word lately.
I love it. Now, look, it's been great. Shout out to the clan. Everybody's been rocking and rolling. I have my thoughts on the hierarchy. Now it's getting to settle a bit. But as far as the expansion, I'm with Trav. This is premium Bungie campaign, and the raid did deliver. Well, we'll get into hierarchy. So I got thoughts. So obviously you guys have beaten it, so you have more thoughts.
Yeah.
For what I've seen, there's a lot to discuss. But from a narrative perspective, lot to digest here. So, is that enough time for you? How's our memory leaks? How we doing?
Should be better, hopefully, if it plays nice. Okay. I just may not see chat, but that's probably totally fine. So.
No. I'll help out in chat.
Yeah, you guys just help me with chat. I'll figure that one out. It's just doing that thing where you guys are blurry, and then last time it was this weird memory leak, and like it's just like freaking out right now. So
is it Discord or is it the what you call it?
No, it's multiple things. I love these technical difficulties, by the way. Sorry. I apologize to our guests when things happen. Like runs totally smooth, and then no.
You good. We will get through. Shout out to Patrick S. Welcome to the channel, supporter. No doubt. Salute to you. No doubt. Chat. Look, he's trying. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that and keep the podcast still running, which is always the fun part.
See? This is the joys of hosting that people don't realize.
Yeah. Things go wrong, and you're like, cool.
Yep.
Not cool.
You got it.
Always fun. Okay. We're going to roll with it. I will try not to get freaked out by what happens. If for some reason things crash out, audio could be a little funky in the middle, but Nina, you can hear him, correct? You can hear Travis?
Yeah, I can hear everyone great now.
Let me bring you into the campfire. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 188. As we all rode the darkness taxi through the Throne World swamp, we didn't know that we were about to experience one of the best raids of all time in the franchise of Destiny. And who better to join us tonight to discuss the Darkness Pyramid and all things inside of it, but someone who spent 39 hours immersed in the depths of the darkness. Our guest tonight started her journey of gaming before a controller even fit in her hand, with some classics like Mario, Zelda, and Crash Bandicoot. But things actually got serious when she first experienced Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1. Gaming turned addiction the first time she played Final Fantasy VIII. But if a game has an engaging story, deep lore, and epic moments, she is there. Enter Destiny. Hunter is the master race in this lady's eyes, and she has the Crucible numbers to prove it. But she's not only a PvP guru and excels at high-level content, she is a huge lore aficionado as well. With countless trips to the lighthouse and plenty of raid Sherpas, she really is a master of all things Destiny. But does her excellence stop there? No. She has helped raise over $20,000 through her charity streams, has taught the art of bartending with bottle flipping flair, and is also skilled with all things board sports, both in liquid and frozen water forms. So let's welcome a disappointed as always Cowboys fan, has to be a fan of Star Wars by gifts on her timeline, admin of Clan Archive, Twitch partner, and owner of the newest glaive in Destiny, the one, the only, LastLadyLegend, Miss Nina. How are you doing tonight?
That amazing introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I try to hide that Cowboys fan thing in the off season. I don't know how you found that. So.
We dig. We do a little digging
He
here.
finds everything.
Us
Yeah.
man, we find that.
I don't wear my, armor all year long, so it's hard to be a Cowboys fan. So
I hear you. I hear you. Look, glad to have you. I love the gaming stuff. I wanted to kind of get into that initially, and we share some things there. And one particular was your passion for Final Fantasy and how that kind of got you into the PlayStation ecosystem, and it's kind of similar to mine. So if you could talk about that briefly, just like, was it more of the the storytelling, the cinematic nature of it? Like, what kind of grasped you into it? Like, okay, this is a game I need to play.
yeah, so it was a little bit of all the above there. I'm a '90s kid, so I was pretty young for the Final Fantasy VII, but it was just that first game to give me that like blown away feeling. I didn't, have every game growing up or every console or anything like that. We had a lot of stuff that was kind of passed down from older cousins and stuff. So by the time it hit me, it was, we'd probably come from, Mario games and Crash Bandicoot and other things like that that were much simpler. And then to see
Mhm.
the complexity of this game, it just,
Yeah.
I still talk about that game. Like, it's just amazes me. Like,
Yeah. For me, I know it was different when I first used a summon materia. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it was just this grandiose Titan thing come take over your screen and like demolish the enemy. I'm like, what is happening? How are they alive after I just did what I did to them? But no, I know what you mean. It's definitely a lot of people say that for especially the PlayStation 1 era. I guess kind of like one of the first like mainstream JRPGs that kind of resonated with everyone. But then you went on to 8, right? You continued, right?
yeah, so I was a couple years older now, so I could understand, I guess, the customization of the characters and your loadouts and all that a little bit more now. So I remember the game was 4 disc for the PlayStation 1, and
Oh yeah.
I must have burned through at least 3 copies of it. I've played that game so many times, just burning through the story over and over again. I absolutely love the cinematics that blended in, and the storytelling, the depth of the characters, and I hope they remake that one too.
Nice.
It's classic. What you got, E and Trav, for our guest?
No, it's like, I mean, the gaming history is big, and the fact that you were like, kind of got almost not like, you got to inherit gaming from people who are already doing it. So you're kind of looking over the shoulder and watching and getting to dabble a little bit before you're almost, not quite big enough to even hold the controller, as you said. But like, when you get into that first game the first time, it really is something special for you. So the fact that it was like Final Fantasy VIII is, you got a pretty epic bar to start off with, which is really, really cool. And then 7's still special, and you got to see one of them remade. The one that I'm waiting for from Square personally is Chrono Trigger. So if I can get my remake like 20 years down the road, cool, but that'll probably never happen because that was like the commingling of a lot of cool minds and probably not going to happen. So I won't hold my breath too much, but no, I wanted to ask you, how did you actually transfer from, you've enjoyed adventure games and single player and these like cool moments that you've experienced on your own. When you got into the world of Destiny, like what was it like getting into that, and what was, has there been any moments you're like, I can't believe I'm still playing this crazy game because I love stories and Destiny's bonkers on story, or what moments have kept you in it per se?
Well, when I started Destiny, wasn't gaming a lot at that time, pretty much at all. I'd graduated college and was starting the work grind and all that, and I was working 2 jobs, so it was a solo kind of thing for me. I would sign on and just do bounties and I was content, like and just kind of explore around. And then picking up, I think it was like the Dead Ghost in D1 that gave you the little Grimoire cards, and you started to
Mm.
get into the lore. And right away went to YouTube, found some creators, and I got sucked into the lore videos, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much more. Like I thought I'd played this game, and there's so much more I don't understand at all. So, and I haven't experienced yet. So it like set off this hunt in me to go find more of the story.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
So if you're a lore person, my question is, there's a lot of new lore that has popped up in the past couple of weeks, especially with the release of the raid. We got a few bombshells. A couple I noticed was the origins of the worm that's inside the pyramid ship that we see, and some of the other stuff. What new lore has you most excited, and why?
I think it's I'm not sure what the official name is, the prophecy wall, I think I've seen it called a
Yep.
couple times. Right? And a lot of times when you go through the raid, only one image is there, but people have pieced together all the images so far, and it's telling the story of possibly what's going to happen in Nightfall. So I've
Yeah.
been following a lot of threads on that, and started, once again watching the videos and getting a lot of other inputs, and commenting and kind of sparking some questions there. And it's I mean, I don't know how much spoilers we're giving away, but
I
it's
would
looking
definitely,
exciting. So
yeah, it's
It's
like
not
we're
a
probably,
spoiler if it's in the game right now. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
so
Like,
I would say at this point, like if you haven't dove into the raid, haven't played the game in about 4 or 5 days, we are going to go deep on raid encounters, thoughts, and all of that stuff. So if you're trying to do the raid blind for any reason and haven't looked at it yet, FYI, that stuff is coming. So this is your time to check out and bookmark this podcast for later. That being said, yeah, spoilers are pretty much on the table at this point for all of it, because that's part of why we're here. We spent all these hours inside this thing. We're going to talk about it pretty in depth. So, well, Nina, it is very good to have you here. I think you may have actually spent the most hours within the raid before ahead of all of us. I was probably close to 24 in there, I think, between the couple days that I grinded, but I think you were, did you sleep at all? Like what was your raid experience like, to be honest? I'm curious, like, did you start, because I know the hours, so I'm kind of curious, what was your raid experience like? Let us know how this thing went down.
so we jumped in right at the start. I have a great friend group that we've raided, the past few years, and a lot of them are in my clan now. And we'd been talking about this, preparing for this for a couple weeks. We even went back and 3-manned a few raids, did some, fun activities like that. Yeah. So
Skills out.
we jumped in right at drop, and we were immediately one of those teams to get error coded and bugged out.
Oh.
I think maybe 3 or 4 times in the first encounter. So what
Yep.
should have been a quick run through
Yeah.
took us over an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yep.
We were one of those,
Same.
so unlucky.
Wow. We are very
Yeah.
lucky that the horror stories I'm hearing from so many people.
We
and
had
it's like,
one, and that's
Yeah.
that we were lucky the fact that we only had one.
Mine was worse than hers. Mine
Mhm.
was, we were getting booted for 5 or 6 hours. Like,
Damn.
it was like a
wow.
while. And not only that, but we got booted after completing that opening part a couple times, and then before starting the first encounter. So we had to redo that whole intro where you're riding the ship all the way to the thing, a couple times. And then once we actually got into the first encounter, it was constant desync, especially on runs that were going well. We'd finally have things going well, and then all of a sudden a DC would happen, and we'd all get booted to orbit. And then we also had that issue. I don't know if you had this, Nina, where the rally banners weren't working. Like you'd put them down and you couldn't rally them, and you'd have to wait like 5-10 minutes to do it. It got so bad that we were just like, all right, we're going to go to orbit and then come back and then put the rally banner down after every wipe, which made it take even longer. So my situation was like 6 hours into it when the issues finally stopped. Our team was super demoralized, and we were like already at the point where we were like, exhausted, and from we hadn't even done the first encounter, hadn't even really had a shot at the first encounter by that point, but we knew what to do. So it was a very demoralizing day.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, back to you.
Yeah.
No, I definitely, we felt a lot of those bugs throughout the raid, so we felt that kind of beat down feeling sometimes, too. But yeah, we were able to get through first encounter, and then second encounter. I want to say, we were there for a couple hours. We did have some rally the flag errors. And some, occasionally, like, I don't know if this was just maybe connections between us, but desyncing because of the shooting of the crux to open the doors.
Yep.
Sometimes, like, doors weren't opening, or
it's horrible.
So yeah. But we were still very committed and stuck with it, and we kept morale high and kept the discussion up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just kept talking, and everybody was just we were figuring out encounters by ourselves as we were going, and we just just kept spitfiring, and we figured it out and progressed pretty quickly. And I think the Unstoppable came out and scared us a little bit at the
yeah. You're like, oh, we don't have any champions. Oh God.
Yep.
Because I kind of like how they went back to tougher enemies, not just like the yellow bars are actually a little tougher and a little more aggroed on you. That gives me a little bit more of a D1 vibe for encounters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. A little chaotic, and I think it was a couple hours we got through the second encounter. So
nice. Yeah. So interested to hear, because it's like, our experience was like really clean, and then it was like a shock to me to hear so many people say exactly what you said. DCs and what Travis was saying, and obviously E, you said you had some issues with that as well. I wanted to talk to you about, once you went past, obviously you did the first, we got our little taxi, as E calls it. You're going in, you know what I mean? And then you get into the actual parts with the totems and the obelisk. Like, how was that with your team constructed and like figuring that part out? Like, how was that for your team?
that was, we kind of did like the like survey and take notes approach first. So, we split up, covered the room, looked at everything, we really kept chatter high up. So, as we restarted the encounter a few times, we saw the pattern happening right away. So we were, able to kind of dissect and figure it out pretty quick.
Who found the Taken first?
Who found the Taken
Who
first?
found them sneaky Taken? Who found it first?
No, I would say for our group, like, speaking of the Taken, was the one as you enter the room. Because we were like, hey, we have 3 locations over here, we have 3 locations over here, and the people by the front entrance were like, we've really only got 2 spots. And then for the longest time, we're going, where's the compass, guys? And they finally like, oh, that might be ours. So they finally found their 3rd spot. So that was a fun little moment. But after that, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know who found it first, but I want to say it was my clanmates Mads, Emilian, and Aaron that kind of figured it out like right away. Like, okay, we kill him quick, and then the next symbol comes, and and then the next one's spawning right away too. So you just kept moving. Just we kind of took it like third encounter of Deepstone Crypt, like just kept moving.
Yeah, kept it. Okay,
on the run.
okay,
yeah,
like,
okay.
We all went in with void builds, volatile builds. So we were trying to focus hard on ad clear.
Nice.
So,
what about them scoring with the shields, girl? What about them showing? They were getting on my nerves. The ones that would come up with the shield. And then what? But you know what pissed me off? I got a sidebar.
No, you're good.
I'm supposed to be trying. will interrupt me, is why their animation is faster than the other ads. And then they bum rush to the obelisk, and then they're shooting the thing just to speed up the I didn't like those guys. Those are the guys that were the bane of my. It wasn't the Unstoppable. It wasn't the Taken. It's those two Scorn with the shields.
Their shields are very effective. I will tell you that. Fusion rifles to their knees takes them out pretty quick, though.
My man, that's what I was doing too. All right.
Yeah.
Continue.
There's actually a couple yellow barred screams that caught me off guard too. Like
Yeah,
the one with the two thing.
Yeah, like
I know that one.
Yeah. Rushed you. I was like,
he come
where?
with the gang. Yeah, he come with the gang. He come with a convoy. I know that one you talk about.
So here's the question. For this encounter, this is the first time we're seeing all of these new symbols that we've got.
God.
So I got to know some of the best callouts, goofy callouts. What did you guys, because I want to go through for everybody. First time you saw these symbols, people tended to like, hey, some were similar, but what are some of the fun ones you guys had? Or what some, when you actually saw what everybody was doing later, what is some that was like way off? I got to know people's callouts. So Nina, you're first. Let me know some fun ones.
I like how you call on me because you know mine are going to be insane. Yeah.
After Nina's trap is going to be hilarious.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, yeah, there's the obvious ones. We saw the, the pyramid and the traveler.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What was some fun ones we had? I think somebody was calling like the red hands one to give like death hands or.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
Let's see. Yeah.
I even may have said that. We didn't stick with that. We did something totally different. We did pizza slice on that one. We did pizza.
Pizza slice. I like
this little
that.
triangle.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like this little triangle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were the only ones calling enter teardrop, but then
We said teardrop. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Yep, we did
I
teardrop.
saw that one. This one wasn't mine. This is another friend's, and he's still kind of like dying on this hill. He calls the commune, the green prism, monochromatic Pink Floyd.
We said Green Floyd.
Green Floyd.
We said Green Floyd. So in that one we can't do commune. It's like Green Floyd. So
let's see. And then I think Cuphead, but that was kind of popular.
Cuphead, yeah,
Cuphead's great. Yeah.
Yep, I like that. Yep.
But I think a friend had found like already at this point because it was like 3 hours in, so somebody had made like, here's universal callouts kind of thing. And
yeah, they actually didn't make it. Bungie gave us canon names this time. You can find them out by going to the previous room. They actually have names, all of them. And so that list that's going around, like drink and enter and witness, they're all like the actual names of the symbols. So.
I need the cliff notes. Somebody get me.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the canon names, though. Unless everybody takes time to do it, they're actually not super useful because some of them don't really look that much like what you see. And so it's actually easier for you to come up with your own that like you're going to immediately recognize. Like if teardrop works for you guys, everybody's going to look at that and go, that's a teardrop. Nobody's going to go, oh, that one's enter because it looks like a door. You know what I mean? Like there's some of them are just a little more abstract. So I think, like Green Floyd, I'm not going to remember Reflection. I'm gonna like if you say Green Floyd and it looks like the Pink Floyd symbol but green, I'm gonna be like, yep, know what that is.
Yep.
I'm not gonna remember that Reflection.
Green Floyd is sticking with our team. I'm pretty sure that one sticks. Do you have anything, Travis? You have any?
Oh yeah. So my role on a raid group when we do day one raids is to keep everybody in a light mood because day one raids can be contentious and can result in fighting. And so my job is to just make everybody laugh. And so I came up with my own callouts that were deeply personal to my own life as a joke. As a joke.
This is going somewhere.
The one with the hole in the chest was called My Childhood.
Jesus.
The one with the guy that was worshiping the other dude. I called that one My Relationship to My Father. And so.
this has the raid team's like guys, who invited this guy?
So, who's this guy? So but people were cracking up and they started to call them by some of my names. They're like, oh, Travis's dad. They'd say like that for the call outs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good. We had a lot of fun with the symbols, and I intentionally called them things that were incredibly hard to remember, and people would kind of get a little frustrated, but then they'd laugh, and it kind of kept the mood light during the raid. So it was very cool. Yeah,
Got
I had a
it.
lot of fun with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much to compete with that. I think calling something was like chicken fingers or something. They call one of them with the hands.
The hands,
bunny
yeah, the
whatever.
hands is probably one of the, because I've seen like some
Yeah.
person said it was like 2 people. We were calling it pizza. Like I've seen like devil hands is what I said at one point. 2 hands. That's one of the ones that I've seen the most confused about, because some of them make sense. Some of them you can interpret, like clover we call love, which is, I've seen that one out there. Grief
That
we
one's
call
called love.
yeah
In the canon.
in the game, yeah.
Wait, which one's called love?
The one
The
that's pink.
pink one,
and
the
it's
pink
swirl
one,
in the
it's
middle.
like the,
Gotcha.
yeah, we
Yeah,
called that
and
like
then,
swirl or pinwheel or something at one point. I think
The
before we got
hands one
love.
is actually the only one we got right. Well, no, a few of them you got right because everybody got pyramid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the hands one is actually called gift, and we called it gift organically because it looked like somebody was giving you something.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, it's a gift, and then we found out later that that's what it was actually called.
Yeah.
which is
Well,
cool.
we're gonna stick with brain. We called it big brain, but yeah, that's definitely gonna be brain and not knowledge. But the grief one with the big circle on the chest, we called that Iron Man, and I think that stays.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. Kill, we had like stake through the heart, like stake through the heart. I don't think there was anything, but yeah, it was like the pizza, brain. Most, like a lot of them were there. We had the witness, like worship or praise the light or whatever the Dark Souls thing is. Like that was kind of one that we were using as well. But overall, you got any goofy ones, Cog?
I think just that the chicken fingers one, hole in heart, Cuphead. I'm trying to think other than they were just saying someone just saying Savathun.
Yeah.
When they see
Savathun, because some people were saying that for the hive face, and some of them were saying it for the symbol,
that's
and that was
confusing.
really brutal. You know what I really liked about this raid when we were figuring out the symbols is how much it was a Rorschach test for the community, because certain people saw certain things in it that they cracked me up. I was just like, I don't know how you see that. Like, how do you see that when you do? Yeah, it was just so funny. It was the raid. I liked this one a lot better than the symbols from Last Wish, because the Last Wish ones were like sort of practical. First of all, they didn't have canon names, but this one I felt like when I was learning the symbols, it was also trying to tell me a story of like what's going on. Like it had characters and things that were relevant to the game rather than just like a random bird that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, so birds, dragons, fish, like jumping fish, and infinity snake. I'm like.
It didn't feel like Destiny. This one felt like the symbols were all Destiny related, and you were like, oh, like I'm learning like a story here. Like there's pieces that are all coalescing.
It's like Destiny hieroglyphics, and you're like, oh, I can get on board with this. Yeah.
I felt it's definitely an evolution. I got to give Leviathan a little credit because I felt like it was relevant to Cabal lore, like cup and dog and whatever. But this was definitely like the best storytelling version of symbols by far. Like you felt like you were learning something, and then again with the motif for the whole. Like I feel like you're in a museum and it's a collection going on, and the whole rock thing. So I do agree with you, Trav. Like I definitely felt like it was relevant. You know what I'm saying? Everything that was going on in reference to the symbols, even though there was a lot of damn.
Shout out to Ebontis. He taught me the hole in heart one. He called it Iron Man, which I didn't think of, and that was very funny. I liked that call out a lot.
I like that. Oh, Twab's up, y'all.
Yeah, there's a couple that were tough. That were like Ascendant Plane or
Ascendant Plane. Yeah,
that, like I don't think they
Throne
got
World?
Ascendant Plane.
I think we called it Throne World or something like that.
I think they actually got Ascendant Plane before we had the official, maybe, or they looked that one up. I was thinking like it was like a mirror fountain or something is kind of what I had said at one point, but I think Ascendant Plane actually kind of got in there and stuck. Overall, yeah, we'll get to the TWAB a little bit later, but we do at least have a TWAB now, so that's good. Yeah, that encounter. All in all, like it took a little while to figure out, but that was the first time we saw these symbols. I saw the little signpost going in, and I was like, huh, wonder what that thing's for. And we figure out now it's for the red outline weapon at the end, which you do. But yeah, I will say I don't know of a whole lot of Titans that made that first jump without dying. Because like Hunters, you guys can stop in midair. Warlocks, you guys can stop in midair. But Titan trying to slow that much velocity down, I've stopped like halfway and been, ooh, and then even when it finally goes like, bink, it still nearly kills me. So we thought at first when we were doing that drop down just to get down there, we're like, okay, we hear don't die on the way down, and we are like, all right, everybody don't die, death. And we didn't glitch out, thank goodness. But yeah, that was interesting. But I will say, like, that encounter, the first time we got in there and kind of looked around, because we were looking around and trying to figure it out. After that encounter, Like when you actually, before we get to that, because that was actually hilarious, Travis will kind of explain the force of mini butts. When you guys, did you get any guns first or just armor? The first time you guys saw a gun, what did you guys think? For one, any cool perks, but two, just the look. Like, obviously they have that very special rotating barrel to them. I wanted to see, like, first time you guys saw a gun, you're like, thoughts on those. So Nina, like, what was your first loot or first time you saw a gun from the raid? What was kind of your reaction and feel? Yay, nay, like the aesthetic?
I do actually. I've always liked the Destiny gun aesthetics. Like, you know, every armor and every gun might not be your favorite, but I love the original themes and how different they are. I think the first gun I got was the submachine gun.
Nice.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Same what I got. Yeah.
And, you know, I was checking it out right away. I was like, I love this. Like, you know, kind of looked like the Adjudicator a little bit vibe for me from year one. And,
Okay.
you know, I was all about it. I didn't get a great roll, so I didn't try it during the raid. You
Yeah.
know, we just kind of continued with what we had. But you know, I was like, lock this. I'm saving this for later. You know, like, I do feel like now that I've played a couple times and gotten a couple more, like I've gotten the pulse. I feel like it looks a little clunky, like a little big.
Yeah. The back end look a little hefty.
It feels
I
so
still-
good though.
I don't have the
Yeah.
pulse. That's the one I want.
Oh my god, it's so
Bro,
good. It's
I know
chunky.
it's a go figure. It's a 4-shot pulse. I know exactly why I
Yeah,
want it, and I can't get it. And I've had I've had
so you.
so many linear fusion rifles, regular fusion rifles. I got a couple, like one grenade launcher, couple submachine guns, 0 pulses. Cannot get a pulse.
Yeah, I'm gonna farm that
it hit
pulse when
hard.
the master comes out
Yeah.
for the adept version because that thing's
Yeah.
dope.
Mhm.
Also, say I'm surprised with the armor, the colors that are on it
Ooh,
naturally, and like I guess
Delicious.
You like them, huh?
Yeah, I like it on the
expected a little
Titan.
more dark, ominous. I don't know.
Yeah, I
you
was like,
know?
it does seem to, I guess it's odd. It's like if you look at some of the pictographs or whatever we've got, I could kind of see 1 or 2 of those. It almost looks like the Black Garden image kind of slapped on the shader. But yeah, it's like when I got it the first time, I was like, oh, all right. I mean, there are cool aesthetic pieces to, like, some of it moves, fair warning. There's like little
Mhm.
kind of metal tendrils basically that will kind of do this little slow waving animation. The Hunter Cloak, I think, is the most obvious of those because it's massive. But
They look like the creatures that come out of the Caretaker,
yeah, a little bit.
or the Stranger's pet. Which I think, did anybody catch on to that? I think that the Stranger's pet kind of looked like those things. You guys
Oh, the
noticed that?
fish?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a darkness
you
fish.
kind of had the
That
same like. I was
little-
like,
I
did,
got that.
Yeah, I
Wow.
did
forgot
she
about
get this
that.
on a pyramid ship? Is this pyramid origin? That was my
I mean,
first thought.
she's kind of embraced stasis and darkness and who knows what else she's done. So that actually would make some
Yeah.
sense. I hadn't thought about the fish in a while. I just was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, when we get to the boss, I want armor that looks like that dude.
Mhm.
That's like, we'll get there. But yeah, when you, I guess that would have been maybe a giveaway of what's coming. So maybe that's why they can't go quite as hard into armor that looks exactly like him. But generally it's, yeah, I would have liked to have seen a little more. It threw me when I'm going red,
Mhm.
dark green, and white. So I'm like, nothing in here is white. Why are we seeing these colors? It's very strange.
We here at the Warlock delegation do not approve. This is not a go. This is horrible raid armor. I am sorry.
Really?
Oh,
I haven't seen what the Warlock's armor looks like.
Oh
but
my
the
God,
Oh, the
Titan looks
face is doing the
terrible.
tingle.
with the tingle
Let me look
thing.
it
It's
up.
like
You got like the Matrix Revolution's final brain chip.
Oh.
That's what the Warlock helm, because I think
what is going on? Roke is not. I can't
I mean,
get
have you
jiggy with
seen the
that.
Hunter Cloak? Like,
the Hunter
it's
Cloak.
about
I've-
2 feet taller. Like,
Yeah, the Hunter Cloak is crazy. You guys
The
actually got a
Warlock
pretty good one.
delegation, we are not happy. I'm so glad I did not get any of that. Like every.
Oh my God.
luckily- exactly.
Oh my!
Exactly, bro. It is awful.
You guys look like a Bionicle with
Yes,
this stuff on. This is unbelievable.
Thank God I did not get one armor piece. I've been so
That's what
fortunate.
transmog
Every
is
drop-
for.
Every drop I've got has
My
been
lord.
weapons. It's been all weapons. I
Must
haven't
be
got
nice.
one piece of armor, but I'm happy. I'm happy. Sorry, E. I know you're going through it, but yeah, I got the submachine.
Yeah, but those
gun.
mods though, you're gonna wish you got it.
Yeah, there are
I think I
mods.
wanted
showing
a
up.
mod. I got
You
one mod,
you
but
start
no on piece.
unlocking the mods now, but you still
Yeah.
need the raid armor to put them on.
You need the armor. That's my point. Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
tell me about what some of the mods do. Anybody knows? Anybody got any good mods or?
Yeah.
I mean, well,
One
it was.
is
I don't know if it
hard.
was bugged at first because I've now played it enough times that some of them were starting to drop. But when I got a piece of armor, say it was whatever energy type it was, you would go on it, and the mods were literally already there. And now, as I've been unlocking them and they're dropping, I'm seeing like duplicates. So somehow they managed to give all the mods straight away.
Really?
And then I don't know if that's going to be fixed later. If it's already, yeah, because I can go any armor piece I've got has whatever mods there, and I can switch it to like Arc Solar Void. All the mods are just there.
Wow.
So yeah, there's the biggest one, especially that helps with DPS, is the higher if you have a certain if you have a several number of stacks of the darkness one that builds, you do more damage.
Oh.
So in theory, especially for the final fight, which you haven't seen, and other things, you do more damage in that state. So that's like a nice thing to add for DPS for like final pushes and stuff like that. So it's actually, it will have some benefits later on because you can stack those too. But yeah, you will want the armor, especially if you go hard difficulty, but also help some with DPS. So there are some interesting ones. I can't remember all of them.
I'm just looking at these armors and I'm amazed. Like the Titans actually for once have really good armor compared to other classes.
Yeah.
Umbral sharpening. Thank you. That is the mod.
Umbral sharpening.
Do you not agree? E? You don't like the Titans look?
I haven't got the whole set on yet. I actually thought because I got the arms, the legs.
The helmet looks dope.
I don't think I have the helmet. I don't think I got
Oh
the
my
helmet.
god. It kind of makes you look like the who's that knifey boy from Soul Calibur? You know guy I'm talking about?
Voldo.
Yeah,
Voldo.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like if
Yes.
Voldo became a Titan. That's kind of what he reminds me of.
Yep.
It looks really cool though.
Yeah, the arms and legs are cool. They don't move, so I got the 2 static pieces. And then I think I got the class item, so I don't have the fun ones yet. But I mean,
So you were asking about our response to loot dropped. The first thing that happened was I got the machine gun, and as I mentioned before, we were getting booted to orbit like 1 million times during that encounter. So we took a breather when we finally beat it, and I immediately went to Mars to see if we could craft it. I wanted to see, and you could, and I was super shocked. I was like, oh my god! So it is I think all of the stuff you get in the raid is in the crafting table.
They're all in there.
Amazing. So I'm going to be crafting that pulse rifle.
Yeah.
You bet. Like for sure, your boys.
Oh yeah, if I could get, I gotta wait till next week. I've gone through I've gone all 3 times this week and nothing. So 0 pulse rifles out of 5 runs.
Even if you get the pulse rifle, I've gotten the pulse rifle twice, and neither of them with deep sight.
Yeah,
so
it'll take a while for crafting.
Oh, you did? Damn you!
Well, you need 5. You need 5, so it'll be it's a long journey.
I'm
gonna damper your mood. Absolutely
you're gonna be grinding for a while, dog. Like I'm damping away.
The only thing I got over you guys. You guys completed it. You got 5. Let me have this.
Okay. Okay.
No.
When you're able to craft it in a month from now, when you get 5, you'll still be ahead of them. So don't worry.
Yeah.
I got a really cool looking linear fusion rifle with really bad perks. Really bad perks.
One. Yeah, I got bad.
Solar one, but yeah, I was stoked about that.
But the sound of it, Trav, the way it's like I don't know, it's like a nice feel to it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Feel to it.
Feels like I'm shooting a Star Wars laser at somebody. It's amazing.
Agreed.
So Nina, I gotta ask, once you finish that encounter with the obelisks and the symbols, and we have the champions, and we got all that done, get your loot, walk through the door. You see the 12-assed horse twice. And then over the edge, that was the moment. So you got the horse a couple times, and you're like, this is weird, Travis. You can explain why in a second. But then I wanted to, so he'll get that. Tell us now, why are the horses so many butts?
Yeah, so I the privilege of discussing this on the Iron Lords podcast, but the horses with many butts is a reference to this phenomenon in collapsed world cultures that happens in like when archaeologists dig up like a site where especially with like ancient Rome and like those old civilizations that died in Europe, where they'll find these like weird pieces of marble and stone that have like statues half carved into them, and a lot of the stuff you see in his museum pyramid looks exactly like that stuff. And you can see these rooms if you go on like a tour in Europe
Yes.
of like one of these old places. And a lot of it is because artists that were like carvers were practicing. And so they'd practice like heads. So they do like 5 heads on one piece of a block just to practice it. And then those pieces end up getting found later and they look super creepy because it's like somebody practicing just heads. And you can also you can also find examples where they were practicing animals, and so there would just be like a series of like centipede-like legs where they were just practicing carving legs. And I've seen stuff in real life that looks just like that. So when I saw it, that combined with all the statues that are like half built and misshapen, I was like, I know exactly what they're going for. Like this guy has like pillaged old worlds and like collected all the stuff that he left behind. And so you see all these like weird statues and stuff that are parts of that world, but it's like it super alludes to like all the stuff that you can go and see if you go like visit ancient Rome and stuff like that. It's really cool. So
that stuff.
the horses were I believe I'm fully convinced were a reference to that sort of like weird statue stuff you can find in our real world, which is super awesome for a history nerd like myself.
Yeah,
It's really
like
cool to see.
I didn't know me and you share that because I'm a history. I'm especially like an excavation, ancient civilizations nerd. So that spoke to me, and I was like, I know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it's just so cool. It's like, yo, these are all the worlds that fell, before, and he has them. Like it was just so dope. I really got wrapped into the Lord. It's cool that you realize the same thing with that.
So Nina, like that up to that first encounter, we rode a little taxi. We're like, cool, we're going into Pyramid. Then we see some cool stuff as we go through. We're seeing some symbols. Then we're doing the first encounter. After that encounter and that door opens, what moment for you could have been the end? Could it be what like visual moment just was kind of that jaw-dropping pause, or did you have any of those moments where you're just like, what, any wow moments basically in the raid when you kind of really got past that first encounter to see a lot? Like what did it for you in there? Or did anything do it, I should say.
I think like everybody, we stopped and looked at the worm like right away, and we had that discussion. Is it being, siphoned power from? Is it willingly like powering like that obelisk or cylinder you see kind of in the background there, or is it a prisoner here? Like my raid group are all kind of lore nerds together too, so we probably only took like a little 15-minute because we were taking it as like a little wind down after that encounter too. But we right away were like, just like, oh my god, what is this? Is it that? Is it that? Like, and like all these ideas came to head, and you were just kind of like taken back to by like how expansive it was, It's one of the things I've always compared in D1 from D2 is, the expansive backgrounds that they've done so well in Destiny 2. It's
Some
just
skyboxes.
amazing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like you see the red
Mhm.
sky and you see like crackling of energy back there, and then you see the more pyramids, architecture and everything, and it's just like I don't know, just so many questions pop to mind,
Yeah. You're like, I have
amazing.
questions, lots of them.
We stopped and looked at the
My
horse
first
and
thought
had
was,
a
what
laugh for like
worm
a
is
minute,
that?
but
Yeah.
Me too.
I saw
Yeah.
it. And now we know the answer. But yeah, I had the question.
Yeah.
So.
What is that answer, sir? Since I know we know
it is apparently the mother of worms
Exactly.
to the other worms. Yeah,
Yep.
which is pretty crazy. Yeah. So this guy has like killed the gods that have been troubling us. He killed their parents. Like that, I think that's supposed to be it's supposed to put fear into you. Like, wow. And that moment was so cool, by the way. And I know you're always saying, Cog, give him your roses. I'll do the opposite of that. Whatever the opposite of roses is, I'll take my licks on this one. As soon as we saw that, somebody in our group was like, I bet you the final encounter is going to happen in that square above the worm. And I turned to him and I was like, shut up, you idiot. Like, that thing's so far away. I was like, you think we're actually going to hike all the way over there? Like, yeah, I was like, don't be dumb. Like, this guy.
But that was the best part. It was just like first time when you finally realize, when you get a little like perspective on first time we went to the Shattered Throne, you could see where you were going, and you finally get that little peek, and you're like, we end up there. And yeah, as I was checking the chat, basically the idea is that the boss, we'll get to him a little bit more later, but basically that worm in the lore that you'll get later once you beat it, there's a mission and stuff like that. He basically made the hive what they are. He fought the Leviathan, the big bone. big
Yeah.
gigantic
That's what New
bone.
Red and them just told me it was at the top.
Yeah, so that is a rib of the Leviathan that was
Mm.
keeping the worms at bay on Fundament. And
Mm.
then Big Boy basically took out the Leviathan. Not a whole lot of effort to it. Apparently, it sounded like it was a pretty easy task for him. And then that's how the whole process of the proto hive becoming the hive and the hive got that all happened because of this dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So the fact that we got
My only-
that type of story was just I'm
Yeah,
loving
it
how much
was-
story we're getting.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The only question I still haven't had answered, and maybe E or I haven't caught up on all the lore yet. I've been trying to because it's just been there's so much of it right
So
now.
much.
But maybe you know, Nina. Well, I still don't really understand why the disciple was in Savathun's throne world, and if he was like trapped there or like what the deal was. Because this dude's supposed to be like going out throughout the galaxy doing the witnesses' bidding, and it sounds like he got like trapped in the throne world or something. I still don't understand what was happening there.
I forget the details. Chat may help us a little bit with that one. Do you know, Nina, or have you caught to
I
that one yet?
actually was Googling that and to see if anybody had made a video or
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know if
forum
we have an
posts,
answer
and-
yet.
Blackwing
Yeah.
says they got you, so they might fill it in. Because I know a couple of my chat actually go way deeper on the raid.
Okay, so
Savathun
she
trapped
did
the
trap
disciple.
him.
Yep.
I figured it was going to be something like that. Like she used her trickery to get him there. I don't know
Yeah.
why you would want him in there. Because wasn't he hunting her for super long?
But I think that might have been her way. He was sent there to watch Savathun and make sure, I guess she became a disciple.
Okay, so these sound like theories then. If we're getting multiple answers.
Yeah.
Okay. He's so powerful. How does he get trapped by her? That's
Yeah, I don't get that part either.
yeah. That's what. There's like so many. I guess just holes in this story still so far. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Getting
and that
a few
worm's dead, right?
ideas.
For sure. It's a
It
corpse.
seems like it is now. Post what we got her doing. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, he was watching to keep Savathun in check for the witness,
For
and
the
then when she
witness.
got the light, maybe. So yeah, there's definitely some idea. He was there for a purpose, and then maybe there was some trickery that he managed to get trapped. But I mean, that's part of the lore too. When you're going through, doesn't the ghost say there's this entire darkness city, and Savathun either didn't know or whatever. Yeah, he's an interesting one. Anyway, we'll get to him a little bit later because that was just kind of a crazy reveal. So we get to the second part and go through a little bit more. We see all the preservation museum setup that you've got going on, and then you get to our boy Quasimodo. So I wanted to ask you guys, when it came to that, first off, what did you guys think of the fight? Because for me, this is one of the first times, because I've been trying to compare. I've seen a lot of raid rankings, and we'll do that before we go, so we'll kind of tuck that at the end. But I've been thinking about encounters that we've had previously, the amount of movement you have to do, the way the levels are shaped up, and things like that. And I have noticed probably the most verticality, especially in this encounter.
Yeah,
I would
It's
say
so cool.
the
Yeah.
fact that you've got different levels, the animation of the stairs coming down, different teams kind of working different pieces, but just the fact that how the scale of the room when you finally, because we explored it first and we're like, people were jumping around. We got to the third floor before we even started the thing. We were jumping around and seeing everything. I just kind of wanted to get your guys' take on how that encounter, was it something you were pleasantly surprised? Do you find it annoying? What do you guys think of the second encounter? And did it, if you didn't go exploring up, were you surprised when the stairs dropped type thing? Anybody can take that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go to try. No, you go, Jeff.
Okay. I was just gonna say I loved this encounter from beginning to end, and I didn't even bother me that I was on it for like 8 hours or however long it took us to beat it. It was super cool. I did not go exploring upstairs, so when the stairway came down, somebody said there's stairs, and I went, oh no, there's gonna be a scene change on every floor, and that that I love that because it meant you never got bored of the environment, because we got stuck on the second phase for a while where we were on the second floor and people were kind of learning that and how to succeed there. And then the third one, we didn't spend very long before we beat it. But yeah, it was like every step that we got to was exciting. And the fact that the rooms were different, that the emblem grabbers had to go into were like a different situation every time. So I really like the encounter. I love that the boss is a soft boy. he looks big, but he doesn't really hit very hard, and he's kind of like just he kind of gives me like sad vibes. You know what I mean? Like you can get up right in his face and punch him, and he'll like hit you back, but he doesn't even take you to half health. He's like kind of just a sad guy. He's not going for threatening. He's just it's like you're fighting a librarian basically, and he's very upset that you're ruining his day. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can take a punch, but he can't really give one out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. So yeah, there were so many things about it that were cool. The premise I think is super cool. The fact that you have to juggle so many things at once and people have to keep stunning him and all that. I thought that was really dope. It didn't take us very long to figure out how to do the encounter, at least like the broad strokes, because they do a pretty good job of teaching you kind of the principles earlier. But it took us a really long time to master it, to like have every part go exactly right. And then especially DPS on contest mode, like that was brutal getting the DPS right on contest mode. So yeah, but I really liked that encounter. Thought it was a really good check. I'd be willing to bet that most people didn't get past that encounter on day one, because that one was like really the
it was like you can see the numbers of the drop off.
Yeah, if you can't do DPS, like you're stuck on that encounter. So that was really cool. I liked that one a lot.
Cog, what about you, man?
Yeah, it's funny. What Trav said is how I felt too, because it's like, as much as we struggled on it, I didn't get mad because I liked the encounter. And I thought, for me, okay, what is he doing? Why is he not bothered by us? And then once we started interfering, he then started to chase it. Shout out to Forte, who's in the chat. I want to shout out to Forte and Sinister. They are the best harassers of this thing I've ever seen. Like, they had him bothered down there, and
stunned.
they kept their stun game going, and he just would not leave that bottom platform. And we did really good there. The issue was obviously going inside, getting your symbols, and as you progressively go up, it's a little bit more intense for the person inside. But I really liked the encounter. I thought that it broke the team up in a cool, unique way. You know what I'm saying? Like, all 6 had to be doing something different. And again, we had 2 down there, 2 ad clear on each side of the room, and then you got to be careful. You can't let those guys get down. Again, those vicious shield guys, all the snipers at the top doing a lot of damage and stuff like that. But as you go up, the verticality was just cool. And I got to give Bungie, they slick. Because what they did in this was something very unique that I know they probably did their research on. They're like, okay, we're going to do plates, but you're not going to stand on this plate here and just DPS all day. You're going to move. And it was like, when they said the power is going to fade, and then you got to move to the second one.
Yeah.
And move to the the person who's like me, normally I'm designated well duty, right? The well duty guy got to make a decision. All right, do we use it on first plate, second plate? What we doing on third plate? Then you got to try to get as much DPS in as much as possible. And for contest mode, yeah, it was rough, but I will say, like, it was fun. And then as you go up, the steps come down. You go up to the next level. It gets more intense, more intense. So yes, Forte's in there. Yeah, salute. Yes, your DPS is on point. Yes, DJ Oros, your DPS. I got my DPS guys in here. But yeah, man, it's a fun encounter. It really was. We beat it off of contest mode, and it was satisfying because I had to pay him back for what he terrorized me on contest mode. He terrorized my team. But I love that encounter. I'm gonna give it to you guys. What did you think about it in general? Like, how was your guys' experience with it on contest mode as well?
Yeah, Nina, I know you spent. I'm kind of curious, like, how many? I know you had a lot of hours in this thing. How much time did you spend on this one, and what was your guys' experience like?
I want to say it was overall another few hours. Unfortunately, we ran into some bugs here. I'd say we figured out the mechanic, because we already know we got to shoot the obelisk, right? So we ran into that bug where you're just shooting the obelisk and nothing's happening a couple times.
Yeah, we got that too. Yeah.
So unfortunately, as we were, picking up momentum and getting the rhythms down, and you're in that perfect run where the DPS is great and the stuns were great, and then the obelisk would bug out. So we had a couple little like hiccups like that, but really, another like with discussions and DPS checks on the way, like analyzing the numbers and stuff like that. A few hours. We got lucky. We were.
What was your role in this one?
Yeah.
I was actually the emblem collector, so I
Okay.
was one of the runners. So yeah,
Nice.
so I was a hunter, so it was easy to avoid the wizards one-shotting you just to keep spamming invis and make
Yeah,
it
you
out
guys have
real
that. You
quick.
guys have that option. Those wizards hurt as a titan. Those things, those sting. Those little floaty shards, and you touch one, you're like, ow, dead.
Yeah. And I think on the second level, the room layout for the emblems is really not to your advantage.
No.
For sure.
So I think it made Hunter a little easier. So we didn't switch roles. Everybody had their role,
Yeah.
and their pair, and we just stuck with it, and we felt progress, So we stuck with it, and we moved through, and it was pretty good. I liked the encounter. I was ready when we got to the second floor for mechanic change. I thought something was
Yeah.
going to be different. Like, okay, we got to stun him differently, or he's going to move in a different pattern or something, or maybe the first one was up close DPS. Now we're going to have to be range DPS, and they did do little different elements like that, kind of. Not a
Yeah.
hard one, but
A little bit,
touches here and
especially as
there,
you get to
so
the top. Yeah. I like how you said that
yeah.
though, and I think that's a good way to describe this raid, at least for our experience. It always felt like we were making a little bit of progress. Whether we failed, whether we, stubbed your toe with a glitch, it got a little more polished. The runners got a little bit smoother at their callouts and talking to each other. Ads were a little bit more, things just kind of got a little bit better on a continual basis. And I think it was that little feeling of progression that we continually had. And again, we were lucky we didn't have that many issues. Desyncs and stuff like that we definitely had, and we'll cover that towards the end. But generally, it was, I think, just the continual feeling of baby steps of progression really helped, as you said, kind of keep everybody calm, keep everybody talking. And it really, even if it was a long time in there, it was those moments that you had that incentive to keep pushing. And I think I feel like there have been walls in previous stuff because we tried like Crown of Sorrow for a while. I remember that being an absolute struggle. Atrax was an absolute bear, but it's just, I don't think anything in here ever got to the point, even the finale, when we got there, it's like the progression was there. We kept getting, and then there were like bugs, issues, and things. We'll have some fun stories, but yeah, I like the fact that, as you said, the things kept getting a little bit better. Things kept getting figured out. Progress was made. So I actually really like that about this thing. Yeah, I was like, for me, I was one of the runners as well. So Titan kind of learned to move quick and just realize the wizards are evil. So dodge those quickly. And I knew we were going to have the different levels because we looked before it started. We're like, okay, what's going on in here? Somebody made a jumping puzzle, second level, and somebody was like up on the third. I was like, oh, so we got 2 floors. And so somebody's like, nope, there's another one. I was like, oh, crap. So we go up there and you see there's like 3 doors to it now. Yeah, we did the same thing. We got our 2 runners. They stuck on rolls, 2 ad clear, and the 2 stunners. And that just kind of helps everybody know what they're doing when you get in there. But it was just those little variations of first he's right on top of you. And then a little bit farther on the top floor. That third room for the runners, though, man, it's nothing but just a bottomless pit and a couple platforms in there. It's not great. And it's a pretty big room, decent amount of verticality, and a whole bunch of places to fall to your doom.
Damn.
And it's like, I've done it on all 3 characters, and yeah, Titan's a little squishy for sure. Just because, but yeah, the hunter was nice for the invis, so that I envy that one on the first run. That would have been nice in there. But yeah, it's like just the verticality of this whole thing by the time you get done with it, or if you accidentally fell all the way down a couple levels, and you're like, I'll be up in like 6 hours. I'm down here now. That'll kill an entire run.
If you get booped on that encounter, or shout out to them for being they being a little messy.
The OSHA, there are no OSHA railings, the building.
Yeah, like
building.
No railings.
Yeah.
No safety concern. But the thing is, I think it's the second flight of steps that drops down.
Oh,
if you just run through it, they need a mind the gap sign.
Yeah.
I would tell people, mind the gap, because I see people just race up and then fall to that gap and not make the platform.
It's like the stairs that didn't quite connect, and they did that intentionally and going, yep, definitely. But it was also like when you're doing the dunks, there's a little space between the platform where you're doing that as well. And I just kind of be up there and like try and dodge and just fall a couple floors down. I was like, oh, sorry. And there's nothing you can do, but it was like, I was happy. We ended up going with as many catalyst Deathbringers as we could. And that actually worked rather well.
Really?
Yeah, TV's been I got lucky to play with some cool people, but
Deathbringer.
yeah, he's like a big Deathbringer person, so he started with that DPS and was killing us. Like we were doing some linears, we were doing some regular rockets. That thing is just solid. And the cool thing is if you can really learn the timing, you like say, well, you do 1, 2, your third, you can shoot it higher, let it fall, get to the plate, and then by the time it hits him, you're still doing the DPS. So it's a cool way to do damage that I would not have thought about without him. And that really like raised our damage a lot. So what'd you guys use for DPS?
Curious what Trav used.
Yeah, we all used rockets, Gallarhorn, and then we had a auto-loading holster on rockets and fusion rifles, so that we could alternate between the two and that sort of thing. So we did pretty well at DPS at the end, and then obviously one person had Gallarhorn to give us all Wolfpack rounds, and I think I was using what's the delayed reaction one?
Lasting impression.
Lasting impression. I had enhanced lasting impression on one of my rocket launchers, the one that I made, and I was shooting that and sort of doing exactly what you were doing with Deathbringer, like basically delaying the explosion in between damage phases. So I'd shoot it on the way and then stand in the pool and then wait for the explosion to happen. Get off 2 more rockets and then switch to fusion and then just keep going from there. So I think I was doing like 5.2, 5.3 mil for all 3 waves. So pretty good damage. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really like that encounter.
Yeah, Nina,
I can't wait to do it tonight with Cog.
Do you have any unique strats, Nina? Let these guys know the best way to go.
That's sweet.
We had multiple hunters, so we had the tether debuff to start every DPS phase, and it was able to pretty much continue for 2 plates.
Nice.
So and then throw the nade on him for the last one. So keep the debuff on him. We went sleepers actually.
Okay.
Okay.
He's got a pretty big head, doesn't he? Like crit spot.
Yeah, we went sleepers, and we I think we had a well too, because squishiness, right? So and then like Cartesian coordinates, like a fast shoot. Fusion, I think what they sold a Vorpal one not too long ago. So everybody has that Vorpal roll, and that was kind of like the balance, for that plate where he's really close to you. We were switching to that, and then going back to sleeper for the plates that he was a little further away.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we did one well, and then everybody else was just DPS supers too. So we were trying to like really stretch the survivability without having something to protect you every plate.
Yeah, we had probably a couple too many bubbles and stuff. Yeah, a little more leaning more into the DPS and hold your own without it was definitely a thing the farther we got into this encounter. So nice. Any jumping?
Divinity's not that good in there.
No, Divinity's not needed in there.
It's very.
He almost swallows the bubble. We tried that too. Yeah, he's a bit bulky.
Yeah, he like turns at an odd angle too, so you wouldn't always see it. Like it was a little. We tested it a couple times, and then nope, everybody's doing DPS.
So after that, jumping puzzle, mostly kind of working through. We found the secret chest on that section. How was the orchestration of the jumping and then also the button switching so you could jump, and then the rotating barrel like Ninja Warrior platforms? Our resident Warlock is shaking his head right now. How you doing, bud?
I had fun.
Wasn't that bad. As much as I complain. But the one I don't like, the one that was evil was the rotating ones. That one, I was like, come on, this is just wrong. I was like, all right. It was the fact that the surface wasn't flat that bothered me.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it was like there were 6 sides. It was like hexagon or whatever. But you also can't clamber those. You just got to hit it and go.
You cannot clamber that. So I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting for me. But I mean, overall, considering it wasn't too bad. The switch thing was interesting that, one person kind of behind and then, hit the button. All right, hit the doorbell, y'all. Go through, whatever. And it kind of disappeared. But for the Warlock delegation, there's some struggles there for a little bit. We got through.
I had to switch to the right jump when I ran my Warlock because couple of the corners, I wasn't using the right jump. And then finally when I switched, it's like, okay, now I'm all right. But it took me, I was like, these corner turns, I'm like, and then finally I was like, oh, it's my jump. I forgot what I was on. So yeah, that makes a difference. But yeah, the Warlock was the hardest of the three in there. I will give you that. But I will also say the Warlock is never going to die on that initial fall if you're going for a flawless run. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the advantage.
But yeah, Secret Chest was a nice bonus. Get through, and I know it was mostly
organically.
Yeah, we did. That was cool.
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
And
yeah, we
then,
didn't find the secret chest on day one. You know, just running through. We did stop to admire, the scenery as we kept going. And obviously kept looking at the worm and checking on him to see if anything was changing there. Like,
I honestly I still don't know the right way to get through that jumping puzzle not using the secret chest path, because that's just the one I found on my first try, and so now it's the only path I know. So if somebody was like, "Oh, skip the chest," I'd be like, "I don't know."
Nice.
Yeah, that I liked it though. I felt that they stepped it up.
I liked how close you were to the worm too. That was dope.
Yeah,
that was
right?
that was the point where I was like, "Shit, I think this guy's right about us fighting in that."
you're like, I'm gonna be eating those words later.
I was like, man, we're pretty close to this rectangle again. I think I'm in trouble here.
Yeah, like jumping puzzles. I've been in Destiny forever, right? And they're always a source of pretty good laughs and good memories. And I thought like fun, but I never thought they were really super challenging, because everybody usually, you have a main class that you put your most hours into, and you're pretty comfortable with that,
Yeah.
So I never felt like, for anybody that puts the hours into this game, they're not that hard. And I felt this one was like, all right, they stepped up their game a little bit. like flawlessing this raid is gonna be a pain. But
Yeah.
like that's gonna be the endurance test right there for people. Like the jumping puzzle on the flawless run. Like
those are be like, hey, you good at jumping? No, you're not in this run. Gonna have to filter out by good platform. Okay, let me see your have you beat Mario fill in a blank? What Mario game have you beaten? No.
Or in the Blind Forest would be a good one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Both of those are excellent.
We'll say we have a Warlock main on our team. Day 2 running through after contest mode. She did it on Blink. All of it.
Oh.
Except like that one blind.
Yeah, the blind corner. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she did all of it up until like that one corner. Like I think we had to like hurry up a little bit because one of our friends that we were running through had to go. So she would have gotten it. She would have gotten it if we would have gave her a little more time.
Yeah.
Blake Warlocks get all the respect. That's a different level right there. That's a different mindset right there. I love my Blink Warlocks. So respect. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even got the heart to blink that one.
You're looking for a challenge later.
That's bold. Respect.
All right, Nina. Third encounter. Was this any kind of a wall for you guys? How was this experience? I want to know from you how long was this one for you guys?
I want to say this one was probably I don't think we ran into really any bugs, which was nice.
Yeah.
So, we kind of, our first couple of attempts were like, surveying the area. So we just ran through like chaos theory, like look at what's here, see, make call outs, see what's happening, get to the next kind of checkpoint, the next room, when we saw that, to make sure that there was no kind of like maybe DPS or some kind of harder enemy that had to be taken down or anything like that, or any surprises.
Yeah.
And then, after running that first room a few times, and we saw, oh, okay, we just gotta like survive. We could do this. We probably like, oh my god, we made it through a couple times towards the end, and then forgot the symbols code.
I feel like we had that too. There were a couple times because it's so hectic, and you're like, what was? And everybody's just shot at a point depending on the hour. And yep, been there.
Yeah. So we had a good rhythm, you know, and like, you know, we were lucky. I want to say hunters were pretty good on this part because the Taken relic to have to run ahead and cleanse those blights. You know,
Yep.
I was just throwing invis nades, and other, you know, teammates were doing the same and allowing them to like kind of get through first, and you know, start the progression really quick. Then you know, we decided right away we're going to split up in 2 teams of 3 and keep it going. And I want to say I ran the K-Bar shield, the relic, for
Okay.
majority of it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was easy to get to the other side. I could avoid snipers, you know, like easy.
Yeah, you can go
once
invis.
again.
That's just, I'm like, I wish. I'm just sitting here thinking about any of this invisible, and I'm like, nope, didn't really have a whole lot of that.
Finishers.
Yeah, so
Gotta do those finishers. E.
Yeah, you can go invisible now.
You can go invisible. With
Yeah.
finishers.
Oh,
yeah, but
Yeah.
The new aspect.
yeah, after like a handful of failed attempts, we finally didn't trust our memories and started to write down the symbols. So and,
Yeah. There's
well,
not
hours
a
we
lot
got
of
it, you
time.
know?
There's
Yeah.
not. It was only just a few hours for you guys.
Yeah, I want to say majority of our time was spent at the boss. We made it to the boss in like 10 hours overall. So
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd say for us, this is where we called it the first night, was this encounter. When we finally put it together, because we kept getting the same thing. We were getting a little close. Figure out the first room. You're like, all right, get the mechanics. Second room. Okay, we added one. Got through the second room, finally a little bit of chaos, figured out the order, everybody where it was going. Found the third room, we're like, all right, we've got 3. And what we ended up doing that allowed it to work, we did 2, for the third and fourth room, we did 2, 2, and 2. 2 went left, 2 went right. And then Nomad was on the shield and I was on the Taken. And we just were together the entire, we just literally ran. We'd like run up, shield, clear, go to the other side, shield, clear, cleanse, run up, because then you have to clear that one, then go to the other side. We were just like glued together the whole time. We were just like the shielding, clearing couple running through there. So, and then the nice thing was, once we figured out with the darkness, the little peanut thing, you can turn around and hit the night for the time. When we got through the third door, we're like, we have enough time. So we dumped the relics and waited. And then we'd pick back up the same one, so we had the same jobs, which works really well because, yeah, if you can get that extra time, then it's 2 people doing the exact same thing, and only the darkness has got to switch. And those are the 2 that have to do the most movement. So we basically made 2 left, 2 right, and then us 2 were that job the entire time. And we've got it down to a pretty good run. It's like, so you know, if you start here, you look up here, then I know which one's going to, and that's what made it work. But this was our... Yeah, this was our good 6-8 hour. Like, this was just to get every little piece. You'd get to we were at the final one, and then we just couldn't quite get the well over. And it was hard to be the Taken guy, because depending on how it was set up, until we really started bringing the shield, the cleanse kind of shield bubble with us, you have to jump into chaos to hit the Taken eye. It's just because it's a whole bunch of enemies, and without invis, I'm just like, please let me survive. And that's all I had to do for a little while. Finally, we got the shield going with, but for a while, I'm just like, there's like 12 guys up there, and I have to get into the middle of them to cleanse this eye. Everybody pray. Like, it was that kind of moment a lot. And then finally, we got the cleanse together. And then the same thing, we finally learned the positions. And it was like, okay, the third room, we know where the knights are at, so you can extend the timer. That helped a ton. Once you kind of figured out where those were, but it was just, that was the one, and the reason I think we were able to stick with it, every run was just a little bit, or I stubbed my toe here, and again, believe me, I even fell with my Titan at some point. I was just like, I can jump, damn it. So you feel really bad when you drop a relic on like the 4th room, and you're like, to the beginning, and when it runs smooth, it's like 6-7 minutes, pretty fast. But learning that thing, and then now I will say that's probably going to be the hardest one to teach. You could probably take 2 people and be like, one of you each are going to be ad clear, and that's all you're going to do. But if you have to teach more than 2 people, because if you have like 4 regulars, you can do that entire section with people who know what they're doing. But anything past that, it's going to be a lot of work to probably teach, know what to look for, and understand the pieces.
Yeah.
Cog, what about you're shaking your head pretty heavily?
You literally explained all the pain points of what, it was. Not that it was a bad encounter. It was just that it's one of those things. It's everyone must do a job. Like, there's no getting out of it. So I didn't even know about that little trick that you guys were doing. And then combine that with that timer, right?
Yep.
So it's like the constant movement. You know, for me, the mistake I think we made, and shout out to DJ, he's in there now, is just that we just had trying to run. It's like I always have a rule, like if you try to run an experienced team with someone who's never done it, minimize the amount of people who've never done it
Yeah.
to like 1 or 2. And the problem we did was last night was like we had like 3 people who don't know. So it's just like it's too much because everyone has to have that knowledge of it. But I will say that, I mean, it's a frenetic pace thing that is cool when executed and you watch it. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like, because just from a lore standpoint, I think it's kind of dope. Like almost every relic in Destiny history he has, and you got to use. Like, it is cool, but this is going to break a lot of new raiders. This is the section, I think.
Yeah,
people
it's
are
a
gonna be
wall.
like, yeah. They're gonna be like, I don't know, because they ain't no carry. You're going unless they do the E trick and people get that to a science or whatever. It's gonna be hard to carry people there. But people will come up with stuff eventually. But
Yeah.
like I said, I don't hate it. It's just I knew that was the pain. I was like, yeah, this is where it stops.
Well, we have some of the raid stats actually, so what I wanted to just kind of give the
cool.
numbers. Well, there's other stuff in the swab I haven't read, but I saw these. The players that entered the raid, and again, that could be anybody of 6 random people or even just a solo. 546,000 people entered the raid. That's got to be one of the biggest ones ever. Players that cleared acquisition first phase, 270K, still pretty large. Caretaker, 131. That just got to be less than half. So that was one of the DPS checks. Players that cleared exhibition, 80K.
Wow.
And then full clears, which we'll get to the last one, 32K players total. And again, there were Sherpas and stuff in that time. But yeah, in the 48 hours, yeah, you go 6 people. So again, there's about 5,000 to 6,000 in that total 48 hours. But yeah, the caretaker, definite wall, exhibition. Because I mean, that was the thing about exhibition is with contest on, you couldn't miss. It had to be that executed perfection. And I was like, little by little by little by little by little, I was like, come on. It was just pure hell. Just hectic though. It was just constant crazy.
Oh yeah.
Then a little bit more jumping, a little bit more traversal. Yeah, Travis.
I didn't get Travis.
I'm doing the math right now based on these number of total enemy defeats versus guardian deaths to see what the community's KD was in the first 48 hours.
Not good.
So just one sec. No, I know it was pretty good actually. I'm almost done with it. Yeah. So guardian deaths, there were over 1 billion enemy deaths, and guardian deaths were a paltry 70 million. So the KD on that. This is going to take too long for me to type it on my phone, but it was pretty good. Yeah. I'll be honest. I think the third encounter is the weakest, and I actually don't even think it's particularly close. The reason is because they kind of throw a lot of mechanics at you all at once, and none of them are. It's not really hard to figure out. It's more just that like there's so much going on and things that you're juggling, and it feels like they just kind of were like, and we'll throw in the relic from the old Baltic Glass raid to keep the pressure on, and then this and that, and it's just the only real thing that feels like it's part of that raid and was meant to are the call outs where people are having to find the commonalities and shoot the door.
Yeah.
That feels like it's from the raid. The other stuff feels like it's just random, and then the running and gunning, I just feel like I never felt like I was fighting anything, really, because everything just even on the hard mode, everything dies like fairly quickly, and you're kind of just like moving on, and so the fact that there's no boss or common thing you're fighting, I feel like the run in Last Wish did this a lot better in terms of it's
like
sort of the same type. Yeah, it's sort of the same type of encounter, but it feels more thematic and well designed than I thought this one did. But that said, it is fun, and getting through it was cool, and getting to see the different scene changes was also really cool. I think that's something that they did really well in this raid, is the fact that you're you're almost always in almost every encounter except for the first one. And the first one, you kind of get to go into different rooms even, which is cool. You're always on the move and going from place to place and not just in one room forever, which I feel like being stuck in one room forever is really depressing, like the damn vault in Last Wish. And so this was cool to like get to run around and have different scene changes and feel like you were not only progressing in the encounter, but you were actually physically progressing and getting to like see that change. And it's like it's kind of representative, but it also kind of gave me like a mental, all right, we're in the third room, that means this is a good run, rather than having to be like, wait, what phase is this, how much damage do we do to the boss, that sort of stuff. Which is kind of cool.
That's true. I
Yeah,
like
the
these
Queen's Walk is
mechanics, encounters too. And I personally think that, the mechanics, blended into DPS is the way that all DPS, kind of encounters should go. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. They think it's too much, maybe. But I like the chaos, I like the everybody's calling out, and everybody's, trying to do their part, and your head is like, doing that 360 thing. Like you're you're just like
head on a swivel for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to keep up and, pull your weight, and, it brings a different level of fun. So
Yep. Little and then a little bit more jumping. We took a little while to just try and figure out to get to there. And we didn't figure out until, was it yesterday, that all of you just need to stand by one of the two doors to get to the final section. Yeah, we ended up doing some weird ass jump around, get to the stairs that you could see far away. Not necessary. Totally not necessary. Everybody's trying to figure out where to go. All you got to do is get 6 people in front of the door. Door opens, easy staircase. I felt like an idiot when I figured that out on day 2 or 3. So that was special. But yeah, final encounter. So we are going to go deep on the final encounter. Are you okay with us talking about this, Cog?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll watch.
Okay.
Okay, guys, our KD for the community and the raid was 1.4.
Not bad.
1.4 KD. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
did they say what percentage passed it? Like what percentage of people, like, was the success rate there, or for the
it's like 546,000 entered, 32,000 did the full clear.
But it also doesn't count uniques on the other ones, and then it does on the clear raid. So I'm wondering if that distinction is there for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's probably a couple Sherpas and things like that got like. Yeah. I know some people did like contest Sherpas. I know a few were that way, but there's probably not a ton of those, I would say. So the fact that it went from 80 to 32, it's probably not like you're looking at a drastic difference there. It might be like 35 max. I mean, there's not a ton of contest Sherping, I would imagine, that happened there. If you got it, you were probably like, I'm out, I'm sleeping, I don't care. So I cannot imagine there's a ton of that going on. But yeah, total hours spent in Vow of the Disciple, 4.2 million hours between all of the Guardians. So I don't know what that divides out per person, but yeah, there was definitely, some had 39, apparently.
I feel like I did half of those hours, those 7 million hours or whatever.
Yeah. In these past 2 weeks you have, that's for sure. Final encounter. So this was the one, I had heard a rumor that we were getting something different. And all I can say is we damn sure got something different.
Was it a rumor or was it a prediction on this show?
No, I had heard rumor, leak, other stuff. Like I got tuned in. And I know, yeah, you did predict it. You were spot on, 100%. And again, I hoped you would be right, honestly, because going into the pyramid ship, Ancient Evil, and you're going, all right, come on, something cool. And I got to be honest, this is probably my favorite fight in all of Destiny.
Wow, that's big from you. Wow,
it's definitely the best final boss, I think, easily.
Break it down. I gotta hear this. This is.
I want Nina, because she said this is the one that they spent the most time on. I'll get my take on it. Don't you worry.
Be patient.
But Nina, like, this is where you spent the most time. Break it down. How'd it go? What were the struggles? Like, do you have any fun, weird? I got a fun, weird story. So yeah, give me your story about this whole Rolk encounter. And this is the dude's name.
Yeah. So spent like over a day here. it was pretty intense. I will say though, going back to like the opening the doors, we didn't figure that out either. So you're
Okay,
not
good.
alone
I'm
there.
not alone. Thank you. We jumped
actually
around in the
were-
windows and then and then floated around the stairs and yeah.
Yeah. Because you're still kind of far from, like, you can see the platform, but you're still kind of far.
Yep.
We were like, okay, we got to find, more jumping puzzle or something, or I don't know, be another level up or something. And he also had a couple teammates find that, like, roundabout way to the stairs and went over and started the encounter. So.
Yep, I got pulled for sure.
Yeah, so but the final boss, yeah, we took the same approach we'd been doing. We just went in, started right away, trial and error. We figured it out. I thought the mechanic was pretty simple to,
Yep.
to glyph keepers to deposit the resonance, and the passing of the leeching force buffs. We gotta smooth the rhythm down with that pretty quick.
Yeah.
We did encounter some bugs here too, unfortunately.
Couple.
And
Did you ever have him just like not progress after you dunked what you needed to?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So many times. Exactly that. He would just freeze, and we found the only way to progress after that was you had to get rid of the leeching force, which meant somebody that was carrying it had to die. And lives were so critical at that point. It was just such a, like, a gut-wrenching feeling for those bugs at that time, because now you're at the end. Like, and, and you're getting your rhythm and you're feeling that progression as you felt throughout the whole raid. And, you're running into that, should we just wipe it now? Like, do we even bother continuing on this
Plenty
run?
of times that discussion was had.
Like, you got a decent, pretty good DPS phase in the first time, but now he's bugged out, and you're like, all right, already down one res token, we're going to be down a second, do we bother? And it was a lot of discussions, and, a lot of times we were, we were taking kind of the analytical approach to keep track of numbers and what was working best for DPS, and we had a couple friends tell us a couple, strats that they were doing too, and they were getting good DPS. So I think I had a couple friends streaming, so they were just popping in and talking with each other at the final boss too. And it was, that was the hardest thing for us. We probably took like a good 6 hours to get a good rhythm here.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
yeah, the bugs that would happen, unfortunately, it would just, stop our momentum a little bit. And, we tried to keep the morale up and, take breaks and, keep the discussion and the chatter going. And, we were different time zones too. So,
Wow. There you go.
yeah. So, we were very aware when we were starting to hit that 24-hour mark and stuff. And it was, so many times we were so close, to good DPS phases, and then the bug to happen, and we still had that drive in us to keep going because we felt like we were getting it, so we kept going for a while. So unfortunately, it got close to Monday morning, and I had signed off to get a few hours of sleep for work for a meeting at 8 a.m. I bowed out, and I think the group stopped right around then too, and all took like the break, and then came back to it a few hours later, and they knocked it out. So
did they finish it before contest, but you just weren't able to be there for it, basically?
I jumped back in after my meeting around 11:30 in the morning. So, and they were still going through and getting clears on the checkpoint at the boss right there. So I was able just to jump in with a couple other people that still needed the clear. So
yeah, so yeah, the fact that you had it, you're like, we know everything to do, we understand it, and you went back in post contest. Is that right?
It was pre-contest.
No, you got it.
It was still contest mode.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it was still contest mode. Yeah, so it's I don't know if looking back now, we should have waited, and maybe seen if the bugs cleared up. But so many times we were just having great runs, great DPS, because we spent so many hours trying to figure out what DPS works, what's the best strats, and then one of our teammates was like, obviously we needed somebody making heavy constantly and
Yep.
things like that. So, it was hard to put down
Yeah.
when you felt like you were making progression. And at this point, a couple team members had rotated out because they were getting pretty tired. So
Yeah, I can imagine
know.
after about 2 straight days.
Gotta get them
For
fresh
sure.
bodies.
Like, how
in.
you doing? When'd you sleep last?
Why were they tired exactly? I don't think I understand.
I was laughing because I was saying, I was like, I woke up like Saturday morning, then I woke up Monday morning for work.
Yeah,
and that was my entire weekend.
That's an ouch. Yeah, that definitely hurts a
Yeah.
little bit.
Couldn't do it, man. Couldn't do
We
it.
got all the
We
time
beat-
test mode clear, so I mean,
Hey,
it
yeah,
worked.
you got it. We
Yeah,
were,
cool.
yeah. Do you want to go, Travis, before I go into mine?
Sure.
Have fun. Yeah, you can go.
Yeah. I really like the final boss. I predicted before that this would happen, and the reason I predicted it would happen is because I feel like it had to. One of my biggest pet peeves about Destiny, and I know you guys know practically all my pet peeves about Destiny because I talk about them all the time, but one of my biggest pet peeves is the fact that they reuse the basic models for characters as bosses, and it's so irritating. It's like, all right, today we're fighting a big old version of the thing that you've been killing this whole raid and also the whole expansion. And it's just like, all right, I'm over it. And so my favorite part of the raid wasn't even really like seeing the final boss, although that was super cool. And I screamed like a crazy person because I walked up to him while he was doing his little animation. I was like, hey guys, this guy's a ninja. And then he did that whole bubble and I went
Kickflip,
flying. And ripped the ears of all of the people in my party because I screamed like a crazy person. But that wasn't even my favorite part. My favorite part is when the raid started and Rook started talking to me and I realized he was going to be the final boss, and I realized that I was correct and that they were finally like using the raid to set up the next expansion and telling story. And I was just like, yes. This is like all the stuff I've wanted from a raid. And so I was super stoked about that. And then getting to the final boss and getting to see him do those ninja moves and clearly being a completely different model with different animations that aren't part of other characters, and he doesn't just have a stomp, he's got a kick in the face. I'll kick you right in the face, which I thought was really cool. So I don't think that encounter is particularly hard. Granted, I got over halfway through the raid and then my friends were like, all right, that's day 1 of this 2-day marathon down. You ready to log on after 4 hours of sleep and get another 20-hour day? And I said, hey man, I thought this was going to be a 24-hour period, and I'm not willing to give the other day of the weekend up. Sorry, man. It wasn't even just I actually think we probably could have beaten it. In fact, the group I was with did go and beat it on day 1 after they replaced me, but it was more just like I needed to use Sunday to write the rest of my review, and also to catch up on because my review was due Monday morning, and I also had to catch up on the end game quests that unlocked once people started beating the raid. So I basically just had to make a call like, do I want to kill myself with another 20-hour day just so I can beat it on the first day, or do I get work done and then beat it on Monday? And that's exactly what happened. Monday I beat it. Got through the final boss and all that, and then wrote the rest of my review and all that stuff. And I really, really like the final encounter a ton. The mechanics are pretty easy to me. The DPS phase, at least on non-contest mode, we're super generous. We beat it in 2 phases just because
non-contest
they give you a ton
is different.
on contest, I'm sure it's different, but I felt like, damn, they let you shoot this guy for a while, like after when he was up there, and probably just because he's moving. He's not a static target, which is cool, or frustrating, depending on your inclination. And I really, for me, now that we've gone through all the raid, my thoughts overall are that, at least in my experience, it is a really good raid, but I have a really hard time knowing where it sits in my pantheon of other raids just because it was so buggy. And I honestly, like, there was no encounter in that raid where I wasn't having issues. There was none. Like the first one, all the DCs. The second one, the totem not responding when you shoot it. The fourth one, the boss not going into damage phase. Like every single encounter had problems.
Well, you might have
and-
to
and-
rank it once you play a little bit more and it smooths out a bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
And now I've run it multiple times. I even Sherpa'd the first half of it right after it exited contest mode because I was just playing with an LFG group and trying to show them how to do it. So like I realized that when it works, that it's good. It's just that it leaves a really bad taste in your mouth, and that's just true of the entire expansion. To be honest, like it probably would have been a 9 without the bugs. To be honest, but there's so many.
I believe
there's so many bugs in the Witch Queen, and it really makes it hard with the state of PvP and the state of Gambit and all that stuff, plus the unpolished kind of feel of Witch Queen made it really tough for me to justify a 9 in the review. And I have to say that about the raid in general as well. Is like the bugs really rained on my parade when it comes to that. And it sounds like I'm hearing the same thing from you, Nina. That like you wanted so badly to love it and to get through it, and you, especially to put 39 hours into it and almost not make it. Like there's a world where you wouldn't have made it because of bugs. Like that really just sucks, right?
Yeah.
And I have no idea how well my group would have done if I didn't encounter 6 hours of nonstop DCing at the beginning. Like I have no idea. I might have been able to beat the raid. I will never know. So
yeah.
You tried to go to orbit and reset the instance, and take
Did
little
that a
breaks.
bunch of
Like
times.
We tried that. Yeah, we tried that. Who's the host right now? Switch up the desync issues. Shout out to DJ Oros real quick. $10 super chat. What's up, guys? Longtime fan and listener of the show. I just wanted to know what's your most ridiculous but accurate call out your teams had. Sorry if I missed this joining late. We covered some of those. I'm gonna say ours for sure. Green Floyd sticks. I'm living and dying by Green Floyd.
You gotta say Iron Man.
Iron Man too. Iron Man, the hole in the heart, that's Iron Man. Those two, yeah, even more than Green Floyd, because I keep hearing community. But Iron Man, that's not, get the hole in the heart as grief, but like Iron Man, it just works. Oh yeah, that's ours. I don't what?
No, I was gonna say DJ saying chicken fingers. That was mine.
Chicken fingers was pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, final boss for us. You get up there to the encounter. I don't even get to see him first because I get pulled ahead. So I didn't even know about the kickflip until we ran back on like the second time after contest.
He was warning us.
Yeah, he's like, by the way, this guy does new things. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have both said it. Like the mechanics themselves of getting to damage kind of got understood pretty quick. You're like, okay, I got this thing. And then now I will say the first time we got to see a little bit of it with the caretaker little floaty grenades. You got to see a little bit of whatever his damage type is per se. He has giant laser beams of a damage type we've never seen in this game. And I will take a little tangent here to say there's a mural somewhere in this raid. And it shows Prism of Light on one side, we kind of see those things. And then you get to see what looks kind of like Stasis. You get to see a symbol that kind of looks like the Hive Poison. And you get to see a symbol that kind of looks like his stuff. And it's my wonder, somebody had like a wondering or something like that, is if we're going to be seeing this as theoretically the other darkness classes. So, I mean...
Hell yeah.
Because it's so unique. It's so unique. It could be the one that's not Hive Poison. Like the Hive Poison feels like that's got to be a thing.
We've known about that forever. Yeah.
It's like,
but this one could be the final shape type. And I feel like if we're going to end up with 6, if we're going to end up with an even number, like this is the first time we see something that I think has potential to be that unique. But he's got these big giant laser beams, lights you up, you get your buff, you do the dunks. This is Destiny's first mini Souls boss. Now you know why I like it.
I'm like, yo, I'm shocked right now from what I know.
And I have been
a
trying.
Dex build, obviously.
Yeah, dexterity build. Yeah, that's a hunter's for sure. Nina's like maxed out on dexterity. She's an assassin. So many bosses stand still. So many bosses are a target to shoot. And I've been honestly thinking back to Taken King. I'm like, where does this rank? Because you got a lot of bosses, but they're all freaking static. And you got Oryx, which is legit. This fight is exactly what I want more of in this game. Because you've got to build up to set up the DPS. It's good communication. You get the mechanics. You've kind of built up to it. And again, like managing that, even on contest, we got that like butter smooth. We're like, yep, okay, we understand the DPS. I figured out you could double dunk later. We got that method down when we ran back later, so it's even faster to get to DPS, so it's actually pretty quick. But even just the singles, we had that smooth. We had the three of us rotating, going, had it. It's the DPS phase. And it's what you have to do, kind of combination. But then it's the fact that he has a telegraph. And then the dude's going to charge across the boss platform. And he's either going to kick you or punch you or swing his staff. And then he's going to meander around. And then he has an AoE attack. And then you have the ability to kind of stun him. All of those things went into just the fact that, on top of the fact that he is the most unique enemy we have ever seen in this game. I don't know if you've seen his model yet. If you've missed it on Twitter, I was like, there's no way Twitter has not exploded that one for you. So unique looking, and just like zero care that we're there. It was hilarious because he's mocking you in the middle of the fight. He's basically saying, hey, did you see all those ghosts back there? I had some fun. He's just giving you crap the entire time on the fight, walking around like he doesn't care that you're there. And I just really enjoyed the fact that, like, this is, it's like, what's a Souls fight? Big wind up, or a telegraph move, or understanding a combo. And you got to do the same thing with this guy. And there's a point, he's got a platform. Like, you'll be at a lower level, you do the mechanics, you run up the stairs, you fight him, you get DPS phases, you'll rotate through that. There's like architecture above. There's like two big blocks and there's a big opening. Now, I don't know if anybody else has seen this. It's recorded somewhere in my hours of footage. He just out of nowhere was walking around and all of a sudden just shoots up into the air, off the platform, and floats. And we can't even see him up there. In the middle of the damage phase, he is up where we cannot see that man off the planet. So he just all of a sudden Superman straight off the platform, and we're just sitting there like, well, I think this is going to be a wipe because we can't touch him. He finally came down at the end of the damage phase.
Yeet.
Yeah, he just yeeted himself straight up, and I was like, bye. He finally came back, but that killed the entire run. At least that one attempt. But he's just so unique. I enjoyed the mechanics. Contest DPS was tight. I mean, there's no question. When you get to... It was 3 phases full. We got the DP, and what killed us is we never got back to it because this is where the desync issues come up. His area of effect is basically a cross of 4 lasers. And you would stand and say, like, in between them. And then all of a sudden, when he goes to fire, the laser would be here.
I hated that. That happened to us, too.
And that wiped it.
What is happening?
Yeah, people are like, I mean, I was playing with some good people. It's like, and they're like, I'm looking right at it. And now I'm dead because all of a sudden you're in the laser and you're like, here it is, here it is, here it is. Now it's in my face. If you have the buff, you are trying to get hit by the laser. Also wouldn't help me because it would slow me down because I'm like, I just got hit. I didn't get the buff. I'm in the middle of the laser beam and I didn't get the buff. So the desync issues were probably the biggest killer for us because the laser beams, and then when you get to the DPS phase, it's like 6 instead of 4. So it's an even tighter window. So if it moves, you're kind of screwed either way. We had him in Final Stand down to 3 or 4%. That was as close as we got him. We never got him back to a complete finishing contest. We went in, booted up the raid after contest was done, literally 2-phased. And it actually says my raid clear, because it was like either the next day or whatever. My raid clear is 11 minutes. We literally logged in, killed him, and beat it. And that was the first, because we 2-phased him the first time because we had it so packed. But honestly, like, the way this whole raid is done, the mechanics to it, the difference of the encounters, the verticality, this is the progression that I want all Destiny raids to go. Because we have the lore and the story being hugely integrated. And then post-raid as well. We get to learn so much about this guy. If there was like a mission on the Dreaming City where we got to know, this is the history of Ahamkaras, we get to learn more about Riven and what her history, that type of stuff would have like may have set that one over the top. The fact that you go back to preservation now and you get a 1,500-second cooldown to go listen to this guy talk to you for a while about what he's been through, the Leviathan, all these things. The culmination of what this was just exactly what we all like. We wanted story. We got so much of it. It's not even just funny. We wanted a unique boss. Travis nailed that one in a completely unique model. I wanted like new bosses because that's the thing that makes me sit here and debate. What is every boss in Taken King? Shoot the static thing. Shoot the static thing. I mean, obviously we know Oryx is different where it's the bombs, which is its own thing. But it's like nobody really loved the bombs per se because you never just shot him, so you never killed him. So it's just like the combination of all of these pieces, and then the aesthetic, the skybox, and then the pyramid architecture, and then the preservation of the museum piece.
Oh, that's for me.
All of this combined for me, I know there's going to be some recency bias. It's my number one right now. Yep. It's my number one. That's why I wanted to ask you guys, where does this fall in your rankings at this point? I know Cog hadn't beat it, and he's got to do the fight and finish and experiments. But it's my number one Destiny raid at this point, and number one expansion as well. So this is the bar now for like Lightfall. I do not envy the people making Lightfall because this whole combination of expansion set a very, very good bar for Destiny. It got an 8. As he literally said, like 8.9. This is the music too. So fitting the ambiance of this place as well.
I do envy the people making Lightfall, to be honest, because it's the last of 2 expansions. And in fact, it was supposed to be the last one before they announced it, right, in the saga. So they get to just like do all payoff. You know what I mean? Like even the Witch Queen, it had to hold back a little bit, and I feel like we're in the downslide of the roller coaster where it's just all gravy, right? Like all the building up and like alluding to future bosses is gone, and now it's just like it's here. We're gonna get answers to all of our questions. We're gonna start fighting the people that we've been promised we were gonna fight all this time, and like I'm so excited for what's coming, and I think that it has to be better, right? E? Like we have to get like a new mob type in here or something to shake up the sandbox. There has to be something super surprising at the end of the Lightfall raid, and I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm just so hopeful for the franchise. This makes me hopeful, even though there were a bunch of bugs that I think ruined a lot of my initial run and all that stuff. Like I don't know where it ranks overall, E, because I think recency is a problem.
I mean, and it may be there, but
yeah, and bugs are a problem too. So it's both, right? There's 2 things kind of at play. But I will say, when it comes to story,
by far,
no contest.
Comparisons.
When it comes to the environments and the stuff that they did, like no comparison for me. When it comes to the final boss, no comparison. Like it does so many things. Final boss, no comparison. I mean, big Oryx is great, but he's just a big Oryx. He's the same wizard-like hive guy that you've been fighting forever. There's nothing like the disciple in the game, and that's really what gets it for me. Is that it's just so cool. I never thought that Oryx was the best boss fight in the game. I've always, and I told you guys this many times. I still think Siege Engine is the best encounter.
That's a fun one. That's a unique one.
It's too good. Siege Engine is so underrated. Yeah, it's
the best boss.
I don't know if you call it a boss, but it's the best encounter.
Best encounter. It's a fun encounter.
Best encounter. But yeah, I have a hard time ranking it, but I will say like. It does certain things better than any Destiny raid so far, and I now expect them to chase that and go in this direction. Another thing that I really like is people who are Last Wish simps, which I will never understand.
Damn,
wow.
What?
So disrespectful.
We got to get her rankings here in a second. We don't know.
Calling them out.
Wait. The thing I will never understand about that is that lore-wise, that entire raid is nonsense. basically, right? It's like,
this is sacrilege. We got to shut you down, right?
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm willing to debate this with somebody who really likes the raid.
Last Wish raid is nonsense, Lord.
It is. It's complete nonsense.
His mic off. I understand. I understand you guys are in the prison of the moment, but we are not going to be disrespectful now.
Then explain it. Then explain the lore to me.
The wish, the Amankara, the last wish, the Dreaming City of being in the perpetual state after the raid, one of the coolest things, a race that we thought didn't exist anymore. Like, what?
Explain to me the inner workings of what is happening in the last wish raid.
Going to kill Riven, the last Amankara?
Yeah. What
do we lore for been Destiny lore for forever? What is there not to understand? What are we confused by?
I mean, explain to me the vault. What's happening in that encounter?
Are you talking about each mechanic? Oh, you mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about the lore-wise. Like, there's so many things in the Last Wish that make no sense to me, like the emblems and the significance of that. Like, I get that that's how they decided to make the wish, but it doesn't have the same like connection directly to the story. He alluded to it earlier, where it feels like a raid that kind of doesn't belong in the expansion. Like they were building two separate things and they're not really connected. Whereas this one feels like it picks up right where the story leaves off with the Witch Queen and the final cutscene you see, and it feels like it's almost the 0.5 version of the Witch Queen. It like adds onto it. It's like its own little mini expansion. Whereas the Last Wish is like, all right, you got revenge on Cade, now fight a dragon and shoot some birds, and like it's just all of it. It's so silly. I'll never understand it.
The wish, the connection to Savathun with the Taken, how they were tricked. Like there's lore, but come on, Trent, don't do that.
You're telling me you fully understood and thought that it was significant in the lore.
I'm not saying it's
back
better.
When the Last Wish came out. You're telling me it made sense to you.
I'm not saying it's better than lore-wise. I'm giving y'all lore. I can't comment too much because clearly I can't fit it. All I'm going to say is that what Last Wish did was the first attempt of connecting campaign story into the well, not the first, but technically
Taken King.
Taken was the first. Taken was the first. You're right. Yeah. But Last Wish did it better. Last Wish literally changed the environment. The Dreaming City literally became one of the greatest like skyboxes as a result of a campaign that we've ever seen. Like we opened up something completely different, and then we found out about this. But I'm gonna let y'all have this. But the question I got for y'all, this is where I really want to argue that part. But I wanted to ask y'all this: the Rogue thing, right? Because y'all going there, right? Y'all going there. Y'all like, yo. And this is really for E because we fought about Oryx, I failed for a while, right? And King's Fall. So my question is, like, I know how much this means to you. And for you to say that, that hit. I was like, oh, wow. Trav, we going to let him pass. but for you, no, I'm going to get to you, Trav. I'm going to get because you're being very disrespectful.
No, I mean, like, literally in chat, you're like,
I got to get that question.
Now, I will say, like, I mean, yeah, you can break down every encounter. It's like, okay, what's the idea of the exhibition encounter? And you're like, you could go into lore on literally any encounter on any raid, but also it's like for Travis to sit there and say, you know, and this is stuff I don't always know, but I know some do. Then they're saying, like, what is the vault? The vault is locking Riven behind magic. Now, do I know who Morgeth is in Encounter? Is he like the gatekeeper to the vault? He could be. I don't know. Surochi's like the, you know, taken witches and stuff like that.
Witches that you had to go in there that were possessed.
Yeah. So it's like they're that's why I was like,
there are beats to it for sure, and like it makes more sense than like the Taken King. That's I'll give you that. But I'm more just saying, like, do you think what percentage of people who completed the Last Wish understood what they were doing?
That's fair.
What percentage? Is it less than 2%? Because I think it's less than 2%.
Hold on, Nina, we gotta let Nina talk.
Yeah, we gotta.
Okay, go ahead, Nina. Yeah.
Felt like Last Wish was the building blocks. You weren't supposed to get everything. They were just starting to build the story, and they purposely left a lot of mystery there. That's how I took Last Wish. Like,
I agree. I still don't think that makes it better. I think that
I agree. It's not complete.
Yeah, you can say it's a 1.0, but my problem with it is that, like, what percentage of people do you think are going to understand what's happening in this raid when they beat it? I think it's going to be way more than any other raid that we've gotten. Even the Taken King, I think people kind of understood, okay, we're fighting him again, but they didn't understand the whole mechanics of throne worlds and stuff. But that's my problem with Last Wish. It just feels way too disconnected, or like you don't even really understand how it fits in Destiny or what you're doing, unless you go and you read a bunch of grimoires, which is always Destiny's problem, that you have to read a bunch of grimoires to understand what's actually happening. And so you can go and tell me, oh yeah, you're locking the magic behind a vault. It's like, okay, well, I don't get that when I'm playing the game. I have to go and read a bunch of scrolls to find that out, and I don't have to do that with this raid.
I could counter and say that you literally had to be there from the beginning of Destiny to understand this raid. You literally, like, there's no, for anyone who would come into this raid, don't know who the hell the
No.
is.
No. You can play the Witch Queen and nothing else, understand who the disciple is and who the witness is, and then jump into the raid and understand that. And you know how I know? Because my girlfriend did that. And she was like, oh, so now we're starting to fight the guy at the end of the cutscene. This is cool. So this is what the next year Destiny is going to be like. And I was like, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And guess what? If she went and played the campaign for Forsaken and then jumped in the raid, she'd be like, "What is any of this?" Like, it makes
there's a
no
meatball.
sense.
That's a huge dragon.
Come on.
There's a lot of prisoner of the moment stuff going on, but I'm gonna let this rock. It's very disrespectful to Last Wish.
No,
I'm gonna let this rock. Very disrespectful.
It's not the moment to say it makes more sense in the narrative and it feels like part of the expansion.
But the way you trash Last Wish was like it's completely nonsensical. Like that, I can't.
Yeah, that's
it's not that.
On its own. On its own, does it make
what's
sense?
completely nonsensical? Like Scourge of the Past, and like why were we doing that?
I agree with that.
Okay, why are we doing that? Like I'm with you there, but there was lead up to Last Wish. Like we can't just completely act like it was just thrown together.
Well, I mean, you had like Riven talking to you as different voices during the encounters. You had, I mean, you had the flying. I'm not saying
helpful.
it's Savathun literally possessing a dragon. Of course, it's confusing, but like, I was like, you can have your opinion on if it's confusing or not. And believe me, I'm ranking Vow of the Disciple very, very high. But I also hold Last Wish in pretty high esteem as well because of what it did. Like if you go through and you say every single encounter is going to be this, like what the hell's the purpose of the Zamboni then? Again, same thing. It's just a thing on a cliff.
Encounter.
Yeah,
we
so
can literally do that for every encounter in Destiny. We can be like, why?
It's more like, how are the experiences? Is it a fun fight? Like that's what I'm looking for. To me, and you said it well, is the fact that the package for Vow of the Disciple with Witch Queen is what did it the best. And that's, exactly. I'm not arguing that.
Sure, I'm not
and
arguing
again,
that.
but
I
it's
also
like,
think the Taken King did it better than the Last Wish. They're very connected. You see, the end scene is him taking himself, and then the raid is you going to the throne world, fighting through his henchmen, and eventually killing him. Like that to me makes sense. And the reason Last Wish lost me is I think, just to be clear, I think the raid is super cool, but it is super confusing and feels very disconnected from Forsaken. Has nothing to do with Cade or the Crow or any of that stuff. It basically is setting up this other thing with nothing to do with it. That's my problem. That's all.
All I will say is this, is again, as a raid, right? That is a very, very high quality raid. That raid is, I can't let, and I'm not, that's not even my number one, like that raid is amazing. And the fact that you kill the Yamankara and come out with the heart and just the theatrics with it and the amount of detail that they did with the heart holder and the people inside. And I get it. I know you're going with the lore, but the basic foundation of lore was there with Teching Witches, the Dreaming City being possessed, the Awoken World, the last Amankara. There is significance to that people that follow the lore. I'm not saying that it's better lore-wise than Vow Disciple. I'm definitely not saying that. All I'm just saying is put some respect in it. It's still up there. That's all I'm saying. We ain't going to just throw it as this trash raid all of a sudden.
Overrated. It's overrated.
Hey, we ain't doing that. But anyway, continue. I want the rankings now, and I want to know where you at with it, Trav. Where is this? All now in the grand scheme of things. Now you beat it. Ranking number one. That's what we doing. Like, what are we doing with Vow of the Disciple?
I mean, I think it's number one in certain areas, in lore, in terms of its connection to the campaign, stuff like that. I don't know if I'm ready to slap a letter grade on it overall, though, just because of the bugs and the other stuff I experienced, and also because it's so recent. But I'll say it's definitely better than Last Wish.
Okay,
I'll just throw that out there. I think probably it's pretty close to the Taken King in my mind. I really have a love of the Taken King encounters. It has the best final boss. I'll say that. It's another Eric's piston.
Best
Definitely
boss.
best final boss. Definitely best
Okay.
final boss. And
Prior
you
to
know,
Vile Disciple, what was your number one raid?
it was Vault of Glass, but also Vault of Glass, I grade it on a curve, which I don't know if I should, because at the time when I played Vault of Glass, I'd played nothing like it before. And now if you go back and play it, you're kind of like, all right, well, this is not that great compared to what we have now. But at the time, when I played Vault of Glass the first time, it was like a life-changing experience. So it's just it's kind of hard. I'm going to pass, to be honest, and I'm going to let Nina talk, because I don't know. I want to know her ranking.
I want to know where Nina's at on this. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know where Nina stands, because she clearly is a Last Wish stan. So.
Or more than you, just piling on it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No, not at all. I will just say that Last Wish came at a time where Destiny's story was crumbling and convoluted itself. They had started a lot of things and dropped them. And Last Wish was the first step in starting to pick everything up and tie it together. So I can't overly judge it not being, perfect and complete and answering everything and connecting everything. Because it was just the kind of the writing of the path, the Destiny 2 story and narrative.
Okay.
So,
okay, this
that's
is
why I've probably only done that raid 5 times, honestly.
I can't wait to beat this raid.
So I gotta know, in top 3 raids apparently, or were you gonna rank this one and also top 3?
Good
I'm a Vault of Glass fangirl too. And one of the things that stands out with me is number of encounters. Every raid we keep getting, I feel like I can blow through in under a half hour now. Number of encounters, I don't need things to be overly dragging on, and just dragging on for time's sake. But number of encounters should be there. And I feel like, DSC, the 4 encounters, with 1 being a mechanics only. Now we got Vow the Disciple, 2 are mechanics only, 4 encounters. And that brings it down a notch for me.
But I can't comment.
I will say the final boss is the best final boss, though.
True that.
For sure.
I've wanted to get away from stage bosses that just stand there and walk back and forth, pacing in a circle.
It's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted an arena style boss. I haven't really played, Elden Ring or any of those types of games, but you see them where you're trapped in an arena and the boss is moving and coming at you, and you got to be constantly reacting. It's not like Crota, let's go, chill back here and sit in this room and we're fine for a while. I wanted something that, more mechanic, more gonna, be involved. And that everybody had to be involved in the raid, not I could carry you through. You could just kind of sit back over here, you're fine. I would say this raid would benefit a lot from another DPS type encounter.
Another boss?
Yeah, another mini boss, and I thought, Taken King did that really well with the 2 sisters, that was a mini boss right there, You changed up obviously the boss fight style, and you weren't really doing DPS on Oryx, but I liked the, that pre-encounter a lot, and I think raids now could benefit from that. If we ran a DSC just the other day, and again today, and I was saying the same thing. This is so short. This is just a run through. This is, people call Oryx or Crota a strike. Well, how is that different than Scourge? How is that different than DSC right now? So
yeah.
Can agree with Travis on the lore and everything and the story connecting, and they've painted a much better picture here. They've really stepped up their game, and it ties into the campaign greatly. And this, it's hard for me not to say Taken King is not my favorite expansion.
Oh, she hold it. That's what I thought E was going to do. I'm surprised right now. That's what's powerful. That's what, it's a testament to what you guys are saying, though. For it, I'm sorry to interrupt. For it to have this effect on both of you, right? All of you, that's the power of our disciple right now. And I'm like, okay, This is something. I never thought the day it would kind of shake E off his square, and I never thought Trav would kind of put it there either. So this is a mind blowing moment for me. Like I'm like, wow, okay, I got to do this. This is impressive. Continue, Trav.
1 sec. I gotta let chat know this very important fact.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's not really fair to do the comparison of like which one was better, Taken King or Witch Queen. And my reason for that is like vanilla D1 was so in a bad place. That was such a 1.0. It felt like a beta, right? And the Taken King was such a massive leap forward that I think everyone who played Destiny at that time feels super fondly about the Taken King. And I think there's no doubt in my mind that and I think there's probably no doubt in anyone's mind that the Witch Queen is nowhere near as big of a leap forward as the Taken King was, because Beyond Light was already pretty good, right? And this is a smaller leap in the right direction. And I think that is that's kind of hard to judge it based on that, because we're living in a different era of games, 2 console cycles later, in a world where the games as a service is now a well-developed place and not just a canary in a coal mine where Bungie was the only one doing it. There's it's just so hard to compare the two. But I would say Destiny is better now than it ever has been, even if it was a less ambitious leap forward than the Taken King was over vanilla D1. So it's really hard to compare those two. I would say Witch Queen is a better game because it has more stuff that the Taken King frankly didn't have, and that just makes it a better game overall. But the Taken King was a much bigger like shift, like in terms of improving Destiny as a concept. Like you would be, I think you have a really tough argument to say that any expansion has affected Destiny so deeply. Like I don't think Destiny would be around without the Taken King, but it probably would be around without Witch Queen. And that's why it's kind of hard to compare them.
Hold on, we got the legend in here. Someone always,
Yep.
yeah, we get the legend. We go at it. Shout out to Scarrow because he's very passionate. Shout out to Scarrow, the legend in here, Scarrow 9.
Whoa,
yeah.
Dethroned.
He said it's dethroned.
Dethroned.
That's huge from him.
Yeah,
that is huge from him
because he's number one wish. Yeah,
yes, he's number one wish. And here's the thing, Scarrow, where's King's Fall? Like what happened? Look, I like Wrath though. I do like Wrath.
Yeah, it's
Wrath
like there's,
but damn, this is a tough crowd.
No, and I think it's the combination of a lot of things. Is Bungie has a very difficult task. Like that's why I was like, I don't envy who's making, say, Lightfall and Lightfall's Raid, is because what this expansion did versus what came before. Taken King was a great experience because you had Crota build into Taken King. Taken King, Regicide, take you into Lightfall, actually take out our first Hive God at scale, the big wow moment of like, my God, I'm going to get squished. Like, that was a very cool moment. Then we had Wrath of the Machine. We got to see Siva go crazy with like Axis and all of those other things.
Scarrow, we're going to put you on timeout. This man said that Oryx is easily the top 5 worst.
No, but you want to know why?
I kind of agree.
No, I was like, I'll tell you why. As mechanics wise, yeah, because you're killing ogres and you're basically killing him with taking bombs. The scale, no one's ever going to say, "Hey, Oryx isn't a cool looking guy." I don't even think Scarrow would say Oryx doesn't look cool.
My people have been taken. These are not the same people on podcast.
No.
They are taken. They are controlled. There's someone has their worm. This is not the same.
Okay, Cog, tell me honestly, do you like the mechanics of the Taken King fight? The mechanics, the stuff you're doing, which is basically
not what you're
fighting
looking
ads
at.
while somebody jumps around on invisible platforms and you wait for them to finish doing that.
Like,
I've always said I've liked the mechanics of
really?
I've always said I like the mechanics of Vault better than that. I just felt the epicness and what was going on was fine.
Yeah. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, I think what Scarrow's saying is as an encounter, it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough. It's not a very satisfying end. Everything about it is cool, but except for the actual things you're doing in it, which kind of.
But the cheetah said the cheetah would fight with me to the death about who are these guys?
But no, King's Fall is still one of my favorite raids in Destiny that I've done
For sure.
different reasons, because like the aesthetic, the number of boss fights that you've got, because you guys have set encounters. No, I'm getting there. Like, I mean, you had Golgoroth and the different ways that you were able to do that fight.
There he is. Go ahead.
I'm not saying that's not there. I'm just saying, like,
changed.
Yeah, this is still there. I'm just saying I completely 100% understand if Scarrow is like, hey, this guy looks amazing, but I hate setting up bombs and standing in them. Like, I get that part of it. The epicness of taking out Oryx in his grandeur form in his throne world, that's pretty cool. You're literally on a ship sitting outside of Saturn. There is epicness to that thing, and that is why it's still always been very high for me. I never said that it wasn't. But for me, the combination of, again, this also started in Last Wish. Savathun building the death battery, trying to satisfy her worm. Now we have her literally pleading with the Traveler, getting the light, going through all of that, seeing the Witness, going into Vow of the Disciple, seeing some brand new enemy inside of a pyramid ship that we've been teased for a couple of years, seeing the architecture, the giant ass worm, like the thing in the back that we get to, the fact that now I know you can see start to finish when you almost walk in the door. It is the culmination of what Bungie has done for raids, and for me, it does right now sit at the pinnacle of Destiny raids. And between, again, you guys are like aesthetic, amazing, absolutely cool,
for sure.
encounters. And if it was just another boss, the way Taken King was, I don't know. I'm with Nina. I wouldn't mind one more. I'll be fair.
That's my nitpick. But my nitpick is that the totems is not really an encounter. It's just, symbol.
I mean, totems is going to be Vault. Vault is going to be,
and there's going to be another version of, we just said on the frenetic, we just put every relic from every raid and everybody just run through. That's really not an encounter to me. Like, I'm like, I was like, I'm honest. Caretaker, fire.
Yeah.
Leading up, aesthetics, lore, fire, boss. I'm taking y'all word for it. I completely agree. For y'all to say this about Rogue, I'm bending the knee. I know it's that. But I can name 2 encounters right now that those
out of
2
4.
Out of, wait, are we counting that? Are we not counting the first leading up on the taxi?
The opening segment.
I didn't.
You don't get loot from
that's
it,
opening Vault. So I mean,
opening Vault. But I could the 2 encounters that I mentioned, to me, I could do demerits.
Okay, then you got to demerit Vault the same way. You got to demerit Vault the same way because you have Templar and you have Atheon, and that's it.
I'm talking King's Fall. I'm not even talking about my favorite.
But that's your okay. I know there's your favorite, but you are knocking your own down as you say it. So I'm like,
yeah, but Vault is playing by a separate set of rules, though. It's like that's like saying like, oh, the graphics on Super Mario 64 suck. It's like,
sorry,
you know what I'm saying? Like it came out as like it built the entire foundation on which it's built on, and for a game that came out in 2014, a raid that came out in 2014, it is incredibly impressive. Like now you play it and you're like, meh. But yeah, it was so
Scarrow's talking. I gotta get him.
I know.
He said that Lord, what Relics encounter is dope, Rogan. It is reused assets.
Okay,
that whole joint is that's a remix.
No.
That's an old mixtape.
You've never done an encounter like that. You've never done an encounter like that.
The joint that he talk about, that he's pom-pomming and woo-hooing, is literally Vault the Glass. It's literally It's every raid we already did. Say, hey, here's the relics you've been doing. We're going to put them in one encounter. Go run through a room with a timer. There's nothing fire about that.
Yeah,
it's reused assets.
You don't know what that encounter is like in contest, running perfectly polished, and actually having a team that synergizes and be like, when you are running that encounter and it is run right, that encounter feels better than most things you're going to do standing still, doing this thing, standing still, doing this thing, because you are moving. And
fun.
But
it's reused assets.
No, it's not.
There's nothing original really about that. It's the not excuse my language, the knapsack.
The Taken Eyes new
the Vault thing.
You have to agree. You have to agree. It's not that original though. Like I'm kind of in between you two. Like I think that's the worst encounter in the raid, but I don't think it's especially bad like Cog is saying. I just think it's sort of like it's sort of like it's like
I'm saying, like when we talking these raids. Let's be honest. These
the definition of Destiny 2 is reused content. He's got a point.
All these raids are greatness, right? Now we just nitpicking. These are all great encounters. We're just nitpicking. All I'm saying is there's nothing new and nothing like Caretaker.
You're silenced, by the way, but I probably got that on your audio.
Caretaker, I'm with y'all. But that other encounter and then the totem, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like wowing. I'm just saying, like, we could take little demerits from it. That's all. I'm not saying they're terrible. I'm not saying they're trash. I'm not saying they're not fun. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
I think maybe a good way to put it is they're not what you think of when you think of this raid. When you think of the Devout Disciple, you're never going to be like, oh, I loved the part where there were totems. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be like, you're going to think of the Caretaker and that interesting fight, and you're going to think of the final boss, especially and then all the environments and the jumping puzzle. Like, those are the things I think of, but it does feel a little filler-ish.
Hey, that's all.
But like,
a little bit.
That's all I'm saying. Just a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit.
Okay,
I was like, no, for me, it's like when you go through something of the levels of Caretaker, you're escalating the scale and that thing, and then you go through the jumping puzzle, and you're like, all right, now, instead of just like, hey, here's some DPS phases and stuff like that, this is pure teamwork coordination. I said that you just told me, like, you pull too many new people in there, it is going to be rough. So having that thing run smooth is watching a little bit of poetry to go through that thing smooth. And it's not like it's not new. You've still got the darkness who can see one of the glyphs from the one side. You've got the other one in the middle. What is the darkness relic? That's a brand new one, dude. That's not there. The Taken Eye also for breaking the actual eyes. You have the Vault relic. I will give you that one for the cleanse. I'm literally saying I will give you that one.
Literally stole both the glass.
It kind of feels like I don't know why that is in that encounter. Like, do you have a good reason why that's there?
I mean, this dude is a collector of all things, isn't he? And it's like
weird that
it's exhibition.
That in a mechanic that you're randomly gaining stacks of darkness unless you get it burned off, and I feel like they didn't really set that up or earn it in that encounter. Is that fair to say that it just kind of pops out of nowhere and then you don't see it again for the rest of the raid?
I agree.
I was like,
get Nina's thoughts.
Yeah, I was like, Nina, it's like we're three people who talk way too much. So you can see how this goes every so often. We squabble.
I apologize. I was holding it in. I was trying to be nice.
But anyway, so where does this fall for you in rankings? Do you hate the third? Like, I know you kind of talked, but where is this like overall for you? I know you said top boss. Like, what are your top 3 raids if you can put them in a ranking right now? What are your 1, 2, 3?
I haven't done Last Wish a ton, but I would still say it's a better raid overall. If I'm just taking a raid as mechanics, DPS checks, like boss fights, like a little bit of everything and a mix of everything, like different style DPSs, different style encounters. Like, I can't put Val up there with 2 mechanics out of a 4 encounter raid.
And especially, I'm so glad I can't hear your giant claps right now. Those audio waves later on are going to be like bam, 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 bam.
She preaching. Go ahead, girl.
And you run by that. Like, that's not a memorable encounter. That's not like a great encounter. Like, hey, that was fun and it was chaotic, and like every encounter you get, like, hey, that was great. I beat it. It took us a couple tries, but what was the great moment in that encounter? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's lacking there for me. And to, the K-Bar shield just there. You know what I mean? Like we get he collects everything, but why specifically is that one there? Like, I haven't watched all the lore, so I don't know if it's explained, in some dialogue or something else in there for that encounter yet, but I don't know. It's like I said, number 1 boss fight, not number 1 raid though.
Okay, fair. So what was your other 2 raids? If you had to rank now.
I would still put Last Wish as number 1, even like I'm not a huge fan of it. Just like, I've gone through it, and I've struggled through it, and I flew through it with people, and I've gotten a lot of experience in running all the roles, and I just think it was, unique and different. I thought it was expansive too. I'm not taking all the story and lore and everything into it, just raids, encounters, mechanics. I would say Last Wish is still number 1.
2 and 3? Who's your 2 and 3?
2 and 3. Man, it's hard because I really like the Taken King raid, but I really dislike the boss fight. Like, for the fulfilling factor. Like, you don't actually really kill him. Like, like there's the we're shooting him ourselves,
goes with
other
his
than the
sword.
little last stand, for really quick for 5 seconds. But I thought that raid, that was probably at Volt the Glass tied for my favorite raid for a long time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's it. Well, I had to know.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as it gets into raid debates, we always have a spiciness to it, and feel like it
Always.
got real interesting there for a
Always.
minute. Nina, sorry you got to see the bickering couple over here. We do that sometimes. We all have our, but that's the whole point about, like, it is one of those things, as you said, best boss. This again set up something for them that final boss encounter now has truly, that at least has set a bar at a minimum.
Yeah, everyone who's finished it has said that this is the best boss they've done.
So
That's
now,
huge.
and now this is why, like, you have the Savathun story and this expansion going into one of the best boss fights we've ever had. It is a very high bar just for the encapsulated expansion. So that's why when Travis said this like 2 hours ago, since it has been a long show, you are very hopeful for the future. And I think that is the best thing that we've got. We've got Season of the Risen going on, which has got some really cool moments between Saladin and Crow. We've got this stuff going on with the Witness, where you can go in and learn more lore about Rolk and the civilization and the pyramid ship. So much cool stuff is going on in this world, and I think it's just a very exciting place to finally be in Destiny, where you can say, how's the story? Was awesome campaign. How was the raid? Really cool. Crucible, PvP, Gambit, yeah, that's why it's an 8 and not a 10, and we get that. But I was like, at this point, those certain cylinders are firing. If over this next year we can actually get some work on Crucible too, yeah, Lightfall's gonna be like just absolutely outstanding. They have a high bar to reach at this point. I mean, you guys say like aesthetic, amazing, music, really cool, the ambiance and everything, and then final boss, like, maybe it's not hitting all the right pieces for everybody, but there's a lot of things they did in there that really did kind of, you have your blown away moments more so than I think I've had in a while. And it just feels like we got to go to space. We did the Gambit was better than Taken King. That's hilarious.
Oh, this is I can't type because I'm gonna call Bungie on him, because they remember when he got the riff for doing the music for Last Wish, the Queen's Walk. I was like, we're gonna have to retract his reward for this, the slab that he's doing for Last Wish today. Continue.
No, but I was like, I think that's why I was like, PvE 9 out of 10, PvP 1.2 out of 100. That's one of the guys in chat.
Sure.
I mean, and that's kind of where I even hear, because I mean, I got the people I got to play with, they are some heavy PvP players. And even like when True Vanguard's like, I don't know if I want to play that much PvP this season, it's like, that's his thing. That's literally what he does. So that's why you're like 8.9 is very generous for what we got, but there are some neglected moments, and that's why this whole year for me. But like, just expansion wise, I think this definitely wins. Without it's not even close. Yeah, raid, certain encounters and things like that, we can squabble over those pieces. Sure. But yeah, raid combined with expansion and lore and world, I think this one for me just takes it pretty easily. So quick run through the TWAB. I'm not going to try and linger on anything. We already covered the stats. We do have trials. If you are brave enough to step into the Invisible Hunter, Overshield, Devour world of everything, Void 3.0 is going to be really spicy in trials. Now, granted, Nina, you have been to the Lighthouse many, many times. So, did I read that right? Like 300 when I looked you up? 300 some odd more? Like, you are a Lighthouse veteran? Did I find the right person on Destiny Tracker? Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's...
Okay,
that's
good. Yeah, I was not wrong. Have you done much PvP, and what is the state of the sandbox for you in PvP?
I haven't even done PvP for my Pinnacles, honestly.
Like, oh, me neither.
Since
I barely played any. Yeah.
And I literally, like, when this game was in like kind of like direness, like back in year 1, like, after Trials of the Nine went away, and the expansions like were kind of short and forgettable, and I played nothing but PvP in this game. I played nothing but comp in this game, when there was nothing else to do. And I enjoy helping people to the Lighthouse on weekends. Like, it's always a fun feeling to jump in and play PvP with whoever. And I gotta say, like, it's been tough with less gunfights, more space magic, I guess, to the point that it's, it's every 20 seconds, 15 seconds. It's like invis. I don't and I'm a hunter main, and it like upsets me to like see what hunters have become, and
Yeah, they are invisible everywhere. You're like, is that dead?
yeah, I don't know. It's not what I took like PvP as a game mode as, to be all ability spam or to use an ability to get a kill every single time. Like, yeah, you used a gun, but you went invis, and then crouched in a corner. I mean, wow. I don't know.
Yeah, like
it's
way to do it. Good job.
yeah, you won. You killed him. It's effective. I get it. It's very strong, but it's been hard. And I play with a lot of PvP minded friends, and they also like to help people in PvP, and we're all kind of in this support group right now. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, that's us.
It's
Yeah.
tough, dude.
Tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, so
I'm probably just gonna play a lot less Destiny, to be honest.
yeah, right.
Because PvP is what I mean. I know people like to crap on it and say, "Oh, Destiny's a PvE first game" and that sort of stuff. But it's like the PvP has kept Destiny alive through droughts that could never have been filled by PvE content, just because it takes so long to make it. And I feel like Bungie's about to learn that real soon. I think this year they're going to learn the importance of that, and hopefully, I have faith. I think they'll turn around and change it. I have hope for the future, as Paul McCartney once said.
I will say though, like having this sandbox of Void 3.0 has me really wonder what they're gonna do with Arc and Solar. Because right now we have like the words, you have like Overshield and Volatile and Invisibility and Devour and those types of things. We're gonna theoretically have like burning and stuff. I'm like, right now my shield, my barricade gives me a shield. I don't know what it's going to do in the other two subclasses, and it's kind of exciting to think about that. If they
Maybe if enemies go through it, they'll catch on fire.
Maybe they'll finally die as opposed to just almost
or
be
die.
dead.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
Because I cannot tell you how many times people run through and they're almost dead and still kill me with a shotgun or whatever. Now it is really funny to have somebody run through and just like thump them in the head, and you get that really easy like 1 HP kill. Those are fun moments to like pop the barrier just in time. They're like, oh, punch, dead, and I love those moments. But I'm very curious because you've got your well making a little arc guy. What are they going to do with solar? Are you going to have like a little solar guy that goes out and just like spreads fire? Like I'm very, very intrigued to see what they do with the other subclasses. And I think it's going to be a rough year until we get all of the subclasses at kind of the same kind of outstanding level, because Void is very powerful right now. If they bring the other two to that level, granted, it does feel like we're going to have abilities everywhere all the time and a lot, but it does feel like those three will kind of counter all around, which I'm very curious to see how they do that.
I bet you Flame is all about doing DPS, so I bet you like
it does feel like it. Yeah,
the Warlock well will do fire damage to anybody standing in it, and maybe the shield as well will do something like that, like shoot a wall of fire in front of it or something like that. I could see them getting real playful with it, and it seems just like from what they did with Void, I'm like pretty enthused. I think they're gonna do it because it seems like they're not afraid to like add different status effects and make each of these corners of light their own sort of like little mini ecosystems. That it's going to be really tough for me to take off the overshield because I'm just ultimate survivable Titan right now. Like I can live through anything. I was like never dying in the raid on contest mode. Like I was taking out ads and people were just like, dude, Travis never dies. And I was like, yeah, because I always have an overshield. Like it's not a problem. So I'm really excited to see what they do though.
What are you excited the most, Nina, for subclasses that are coming in the future? Is there one that you've like, I wonder if they're gonna do anything for you that sounds intriguing, or like if you kind of thought, will they go this far? Because they went pretty far with Void.
Yeah, I think kind of surpassed what I thought they would do for the Void update. Much more options. Do you feel like the give and take, could be a little harder? Like, if you're gonna buff abilities, then, slow ability regen down, or perhaps, dexterity or something else, with it. I know they've kind of done a little bit of that balancing, but I think that could play in really big. I would say I'm excited for. I used to be a Goldie main for the
Yeah.
D1. So I would love to see Golden Gun kind of shine again and not be like a meme super a little bit.
No, for sure.
Nobody's scared of a Golden Gun when it pops, really, unfortunately. But yeah, all the solar subclasses, would be really interesting. I know they've talked about what a corrosion, poison, some
Oh, yeah.
subclass.
Yeah, whatever the next one is, that's who
Whatever.
knows what that's gonna do.
Yeah, I kind of fear for that. I don't want to be like, Thorn status effect my entire
All the
PvP
time. Yeah.
experience.
You don't want
so-
that?
All
Like,
thorn all the time.
so-
No, they're not. They're flame is going to be damage over time, so that means poison's just going to make all of your abilities take longer to recharge for as long as you're poisoned. It'll be like a suppress, but like over time, it'll just be
Oh,
extra
God.
annoying. And that with stasis, you'll just move faster. Your abilities will be slow. You move slower. Your abilities will recharge slower. Everything will just be slow. It'll be great.
Yeah. I'm
Isn't
a
the
big
darkness
Thorn
a
fan
gift?
though, so I'm intrigued by that. It's like you're saying, like what else could they do different, right? What can make
Yeah.
it unique?
The one
So-
thing that I did see and kind of gives intrigue, because somebody is saying solar is going to have burning, probably also going to
think
have
so.
healing, because it does now, because you've got obviously the void well and stuff like that. I'm like, can you imagine the fact, I mean, you've got sunspots that do a little bit of that, so they're kind of dabbling with a little bit. The one thing that I saw was in Season of the Risen, when you're going through the PsyOps Battlegrounds and you pick up the spear, have you blinked with that thing yet?
No, I have not.
You go
yeah.
really far. And they
Really?
said
Really?
yeah, you can do it like bam bam. You can do it twice in a row and cover massive chunk of the map. You can cover maybe not massive, like not the whole, but you can cover a lot of ground, more than probably a normal blink, any kind of direction you generally want to go. I've done it like sideways twice while sitting there throwing it at her. And I think it was Kevin Giannis who said that that's kind of the idea that they're dabbling with for arc, quickness, movement, and things of that nature. So like that's another way that they could take it as well. So I'm going, yeah, you might have an overshield.
Hell yeah.
They might be crazy fast though, and I'm like, okay, that's the type of stuff. I'm like, the game will not look the same come Lightfall. And we're at a point now we are leaning heavily into Void, but over these next 2 seasons and stuff, and whatever happens in 19, that's I think what I'm excited about. But yeah, trials this weekend for the first time. We got a scout rifle, Aisha's Embrace, auto rifle, which summoner. Is that right?
Rifle's gonna be good. Yeah.
Got rifle 260, so it's a rapid fire. Triple tap and fourth chime's the charm. Theoretically could get those. I don't know if we're going to be crafting any of the trials weapons. Not sure if we're going to be able to do that.
I didn't even think
Actually,
about
I didn't
that.
think about that.
True.
Iron Banner also, doesn't that get its rework? No, Iron Banner's season 17, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we do have the new hand cannon, which I've seen is the goofiest looking hand cannon in the game so far. The sword, that's your lightsaber that everybody was looking at. That starts on Tuesday. So no trials next weekend. Trials this weekend, break, then trials will be back. But yeah, that's TWAB was mostly just like numbers, and they've been busy, and you guys have been busy too. So that's most of it. We have kept Nina for quite a while. I know we are coming up on a good over 2.5 hours. So I do want to thank you for a lot of your time. But at this point, as we do kind of wrap things up, the floor is yours at this point. If people can find you for wherever you do like content for streaming, for anything that you've got going on, where they can find you, what you do, and all of that stuff. At this point, the floor is yours to tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, so just stream on Twitch, mostly weekends because there was a lot of trials helps. I do occasionally the weekday streams, and we've been in a couple more now. We're going to be having some more weekday streams with more raid teaching. We've taken a lot of people through the new raid already, and it's been fun teaching and letting people practice. I keep telling people, now's the time to do it. Because if you don't learn roles and the mechanics and, try your hand at everything, a month from now when people are tired of this raid, they're not going to want to
They go and do it.
go through, the legwork of teaching somebody. So, now join up for raids and just have fun with it. No pressure. So but yeah, that's really just Twitch. I try to post on the Twitter a lot, and we'll take a lot of suggestions from people that have struggled in raids or PvP before. Try to stay really active and visit, hang out in everybody's streams, and I try to, make my rounds in everybody's discords, and you could probably find me lurking in your stream a lot, and lurking in others, and just people that genuine people that actually enjoy this game and want to see it progress in the right direction. So
Nice. Yes, please go follow her, blow up her Twitch, Twitter, do the right things, hang out, lots of support for our guests. So thank you very much for taking so much time. As for Travis and Cog, Trav, you got something you can't quite talk about yet, right?
I can talk about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I will be reviewing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the new Borderlands game. I'm going to start playing it on Monday, and my review will go live probably the day the game comes out or the day before, whenever embargo is. I have not checked. Nice. But yeah, I'm going to be playing that over the next 10 days or however long it is I have to review it. Should be a lot of fun. You can find that on IGN.com. You can also find my review of The Witch Queen and all the other stuff that I do. And if you care at all about the games industry, I do a show on Sunday mornings called Bitcast. It's at 8 a.m. Pacific. And this last week, I got into a knockdown drag out with Mr. Richard Hogue himself, our resident lawyer on the panel. He and I had a very fun debate/disagreement on the role of games as a service in the industry and if it is a good thing or not. I was obviously on the side of, yes, it is a good thing because I play Destiny and lots of other games and I know more about it than him. And he was on the wrong side of history, obviously. And so you can watch that debate. It's really awesome. It's one of my favorite episodes we've done. So please tune into that if you care at all about that sort of stuff. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for coming, Nina. Awesome content creator. Trials try hard. We should run together at some point and play some trials. And Cog, what do you got going on?
Yeah, for sure.
First of all, salute that Nina came through. So much fun. Just hear a story. I just like her like well-roundedness as far as Destiny, like pretty much doing all components of it, raiding. Because usually people fall in pockets, and I like when people actually play all aspects of the game. I think that's really cool. So salute to you and salute to your good decision making on raids. But all jokes aside, now salute. Yeah, just catch me up. Our little podcast every Sunday. We will be back. Dirk Griggity will pull up, so that should be fun. And peace. Salute to everybody for supporting Defining Duke. We had the episode with Mark Dara from BioWare. It's now free, so if people are not part of the Patreon, you can go check it out on the YouTube on Last Stand Minute, which is really cool. Fun interview. The guy is extremely insightful, and a lot of people don't realize all the kind of mechanics of sometimes why games fail and just the size of teams.
Yeah,
it's just really
a good
interesting.
Listen.
Yeah, very interesting, man. And he was forthcoming. So I highly advise people to listen, especially your favorite games. And he knows we used to do, when Destiny was down, we would do podcasts like, yo, what's it gonna be? Division 2, Anthem, the killers, we would call, right? And you hear about one of the internal ones with Anthem and what was going on there. Salute to that. Salute to everybody in the chat. Listen to our foolish. Salute to Scarrow 9 coming through.
Yeah.
Love it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that pulled up, ILP Clan, DJ, all of y'all, everybody. It was a lot of fun. You guys make it fun. And it's cool to see everybody supporting and showing love to E. And E, man, what's been going on with you? And what you got going on, man?
Oh, for me, streaming, making content, YouTube. Streaming has been a lot more recently. I'm trying to find my point where I can balance Destiny content, so streaming on a couple days, and then find that point where I can deep dive into Elden Ring, which will be my next one. But outside of that, yeah, mostly just like streaming. I want to get to a point where I'm really comfortable just in all pieces of the raid, so maybe help some of the people in my Discord with that, just to kind of experiment and go through roles. But yeah, I mean, I really am enjoying the raid right now, and just kind of what it offers. Obviously, you have the crafting weapons we want to go for, so just a lot of stuff in Destiny to cover. But I mean, outside of me, Nina, thank you very much for, again, taking the time. You have a great community, because I know half of them are in chat here, just giving you lots of love. So it's awesome to see when anybody else's community comes over to check you out on a different channel, chat with us, chat with the community. That means you got a good group of people over there. So please, anybody who listens to this, find her LastLadyLegend. Is that right? Lady. Yeah. Feel like I had the words backwards, but LastLadyLegend. Go follow her. Go check out her streams. Ultra nice, ultra helpful. Very, very great creator. But that pretty much wraps it up. This one was absolutely our pleasure. As we wrap up this episode, it has been a really, really good one. I knew the raid talk was going to be a lot. Didn't know it was going to be quite as argumentative, but we had a little bit of fun. I had a little spiciness in there, but that's kind of
how those are my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I think Travis just looks to pick a fight and then just see how much he can like poke the bear.
A lot of good points brought up. A lot of good points.
I mean, everybody's got their, and then again, a different experience and stuff. Did you have 1 hour? Did you have 6 hours? Like that's a different experience for a lot of people. So it's going to be a thing. But it was cool to get a really good, well-rounded show. And we had a Hunter on tonight. So we had a nice balance, which is always good.
Nice.
So, yeah. So she is Hunter at heart, it seems, even if she dabbles, Hunter at heart for sure. So episode number 188, March 10th, post-raid was a great one. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody who hears this later on. If you do hear this and you made it this far, please drop us a like, drop us a review, but send some love to this thing so you can send it up to hopefully more ears and help keep this thing growing. But to everybody out there for this episode, as we wrap it up, it has been
the last
word. All right, chat. We are out of here. You all have an amazing evening, and we will see you soon. Go find any of these amazing people and send them some love. Go find an IGN article and just put a bot on F5 or something. Just, I want to see that review get like 6 gazillion views. So they're like, oh, cool. That just get him more clout in there. So thank you guys. You are awesome. Good night.